show. After the sweet life of Zack and Cody's massively successful 3-season run, the franchise was just too lucrative to abandon, despite Dylan and Cole Sprouse rapidly growing out of their roles. A follow-up entitled The Sweet Life on Deck was greenlit by Disney Channel, with Phil Lewis as Mr. Mosby and Brenda Song as London Tipton coming along for the voyage. Farm girl Bailey Pickett, played by Debbie Ryan, rounded out the series' main cast, filling the gap left by Kim Rhodes and Ashley Tisdale's absence. The kids enrolled in 7 Seas High, a high school semester abroad program which at some point silently evolved into a multiple years abroad, despite the show never acknowledging this. Recurring cast members Arwen Hawkhauser, played by Brian Stepanek, and Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya de la Rosa Ramirez, played by Julie... Wow, I messed up his real name. Played by Adrian Ramonte, were swiftly abandoned, though the franchise had considered at one point moving on with Arwen only, greenlighting a pilot of the same name. And this might be the first time this information's ever hit the internet, as far as I'm aware. But apparently the plan was, at one point, to continue the series with Brenda Song and Ashley Tisdale, but without Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
Hey, what's up, Kian? It's me, Adrian Armante, but of course you know me as Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya de Rosa Ramirez from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, the greatest show of all time on Disney Channel. Now, originally, and I'm giving you the inside scoop, Ashley Tisdale came to me and approached me and said, hey, they're going to do a spin-off of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Would you be willing to do it with me? And it was going to take place on a boat and everything, and a ship. And I said, of course, no problem. So actually it was set to be Brenda and Ashley, no Dylan and Cole, and they were going to have Mr. Mosby, and it was going to be about them being in college on a ship or something like that. And then it all got put to rest when Ashley blew up from High School Musical. They started doing High School Musical 2, 3, 4, etc. And then they had a spin off her, Sharp Pace Fabulous Adventure. So Ashley was kind of out the picture. So they went back to the boys, Dylan and Cole, and offered them The Sweet Life on Deck, and they took it.
So that's interesting. The SS Tipton cruise liner frequently docks in other countries, and this serves as a vehicle to teach young kids about other cultures they might not otherwise experience. In theory. In practice, however, it burns through every stereotype associated with a culture while showing a piece of stock footage that barely represents the country, if at all. Such as this image of Marmaris that's intended to represent Athens, or this video of the Virgin Islands, which is supposedly India. In this video, I'll once again be joined by cultural representatives to watch the episodes with me on a call and weigh in on the authenticity of the representation.
Can't we just stay home and watch some TV?
I called it. I knew it. There we go.
Welcome to the grand finale of my Zack and Cody retrospective. If you have not seen any of these 3 prior videos, or you don't want to, don't worry, I'm going to give you all the information you need as the video goes along. If this is your first time jumping in, you'll be fine. Today we'll cover the final decay and capsizing of a franchise that's gone on well past its prime. What started as a grounded and heartfelt series designed to instill family values and positive lessons to a young audience rapidly devolved into utter lunacy across the course of many years. The Sweet Life on Deck only perpetuated this problem. In the old days, we'd see Zack and Cody entering Battle of the Bands or running for class election. An episode of On Deck sees Zack and Cody infiltrating a spy ring or building a hot air balloon out of lumber and clothes to escape a deserted island, or accidentally unleashing an ancient South American spirit which possesses Bailey and throws moderately sized rocks at people. These episodes, which used to have stakes or maybe ticking clocks, now have nothing of the sort, as we get a series of loose, tensionless escapades with no rhyme or reason, where half of an episode will often pass with no real plot progression. A show which used to exist in its own world is now obsessed with making surface-level references to pop culture.
He who shall not be named.
Voldemort?
These young boys who started as sweet, well-meaning kids are now selfish, mean-spirited near adults who are still written as though they're 12 years old. Zack is a sexist womanizer who tried to trick a girl with amnesia into thinking he was her boyfriend. Cody is a know-it-all sociopath who broke his girlfriend Bailey's ankle to get away with a lie. London, who used to feel like a plausibly real person, is now venomously antagonistic, one-dimensional, and dumb as a sack of hammers. Not to mention, the wardrobe department has not tried in years as of where we last left off, midway through season 2. She used to have a unique look in every episode, and that did not carry into On Deck at all. No creativity, no inspiration, she has not slayed in years, let's be real. Mr. Mosby used to steal every scene he was in. Now he comes across as lethargic and low energy. He fails to command any presence over the twins when they're considerably taller than him, and he's missing from so many episodes, often due to Phil Lewis directing. Doc Shaw recently joined the main cast as Marcus Little, a washed-up former rapper named Lil who's made a new home on the SS Tipton. He showed up very abruptly a few episodes ago, and there's still no real justification for him existing as a character at all in regards to how he affects the series or the other main cast members. Cody's roommate Woody, played by Matthew Timmons, is fat, hungry, and gross. And if you think that isn't enough to make an enjoyable character, yeah, you're right.
What number am I thinking of? Pizza. Wow.
The wheel of...
Please say cheese. Please say cheese.
Woody likes to say, dang it!
Dang it. 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 Dang it.
And hurtful.
Hurtful. Hurtful. Hurtful. Hurtful.
I couldn't technically be their roommate, so what really happened is Woody took the place of Esteban. And that's just how the business goes.
The ship's security guard, Kirby, played by Wendell Middlebrooks, is fat, hungry, and not gross. And if you think that isn't enough to make an enjoyable character, you're actually kind of wrong this time. I don't know, Kirby, he just kind of hits. Oh, my package was delivered. I just got a notification.
You carry butter in your pants?
I don't like gum.
He likes to say, dang.
Dang, 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 not a dingy.
Woody's crush and classmate Addison talks really, really fast all the time. And that's not so much a personality trait as it is a gimmick.
Oh, can I spin? I love to spin. Sometimes I spin round and round till I get dizzy and throw up. Watch. No.
And the kid's teacher, Miss Tutwiler, is a complete pushover who lets them get away with anything, and thus is never a source of stakes. Recently, her characterization has boiled down to solely being romantically lonely.
What? No one wants to marry me?
You get used to it. I will have you know that right now I am in a loving, committed relationship with a wonderful, thoughtful... Okay, so much for that. How can I help you?
With our premise and our cast of characters refreshed in your lovely mind, let's set sail one last time. We'll pick up with Season 2, Episode 20, London's Apprentice.
Set sail for fun at 7 Seas High with Zach, Cody, and friends. The Sweet Life on Deck is next on Disney Channel.
London's been given $1 million from her perpetually off-screen billionaire father, Mr. Tipton, and she's tasked with developing a product to appeal to the youth demographic for the company to develop. London, not necessarily an expert at thinking, calls in her good friends Zach, Cody, Bailey, and Marcus to simply brainstorm ideas on her behalf. The winning product earning its creator a profit share. From here, there's a fierce competition on behalf of the kids to make the winning product. Also, I know I just said that her outfits haven't looked cool in years, but I kind of like the pink trimmed business suit. This one is heads and shoulders above what she wears in the rest of this series. Very distinct and silly. Bailey proposes little Applehead dolls. Marcus introduces flush tones, toilets that play music when they flush. Cody creates a utility knife oven mitt, which he calls Kitchen in a Mitt, with the most annoying voice of all time.
We've all been there, but those days are over, thanks to the Kitchen in a Mitt.
Zach suggests a supersuit with laser heat vision. This prototype, of course, not featuring that functionality, his thought being the nerds can figure it out. London has quite a decision to make. During these videos, I always enjoy visiting the fan wikias that were written by children at the time the show was airing. This episode's wikia page is exceptional. Its plot summary literally writing out every single joke stated in the episode before abruptly stopping at the commercial break midway point and simply not writing what happened in the second half of the episode, which is how it currently sits 14 years after it aired. This page posits that the episode's name, London's Apprentice, may be an homage to the then upcoming Disney film, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, starring Nicolas Cage as an ancient sorcerer fighting evil in modern-day Manhattan. There is not a single, even remote similarity between that source material and this one, outside of the fact that they both have the word apprentice in their title. The writers of The Sweet Life on Deck did not name their episode off of a children's film that wouldn't have even come out until 5 months after this one aired. Mayhaps a more likely explanation is that the episode takes its name from the business-based reality show The Apprentice, Apprentice. If you weren't around in the 90s and 2000s, then you've probably never heard of businessman reality TV host Donald Trump, who largely disappeared from public spotlight after he retired as the host of Celebrity Apprentice in 2015 for unknown reasons.
So where's the little release? Wow. So there's a little piece of lint. Now it's gone.
London, still unable to decide which idea to choose, is faced with a Friday deadline by her father. So she encourages her friends to combine all of their ideas into one singular invention. The result, during the product showcase, is a robotic granny who's customizable, plays music, cooks, and fires lasers. Everyone seems impressed. I know that if I were a parent, I want my kid to have one of these. This is a perfect continued representation of the franchise's decline into utter lunacy despite its very grounded beginnings. Unfortunately, Robo Granny quickly goes rogue. It's apparently a program with the personality of an old white woman as well because it exclusively singles out the person of color as a security concern.
Enemy approaching! Acquired target!
Granny's attempts to boil Mr. Mosby alive in the hot tub are thwarted when frequent non-speaking character Mrs. Gurgley smacks her with her purse and knocks her over. I've never formally mentioned this woman until now, but she shows up every few episodes to hit Zach, and there is never any good sense of comedic timing to it, to the point that I never clocked her existence as a kid and never registered that this was a running gag, despite identifying and enjoying all of the running gags in the concurrently airing Phineas and Ferb. The difference being that show was rather funny. London's devastated that their invention didn't work and she hides in a closet to cry. New closet set, by the way, interessante. Mosby comes to comfort her, and I think this is a perfect compare and contrast point to examine how far this show's fallen from its beginnings and how dull it's become. In season 1 episode 6 of the original series titled The Prince and the Plunger, London sobs in a supply closet when her father Mr. Tipton breaks his promise to attend a father-daughter dance with her. Mosby comes to comfort her, and it's a foundational moment to understanding these characters. Now, 123 episodes later, we're just getting echoes of that conversation with flanderized one-note characters and intervening laugh tracks every 4 to 5 seconds. We learn that London owns more shoes than the entirety of Spain, and at one point, died.
Who was the first to wear a solid gold bikini?
Me? I sink like a rock, but I met lots of cute lifeguards, and doctors, and briefly, Elvis.
Mosby then says no one knows shopping better than London, and she's the most uniquely qualified to develop a product because she knows what people buy. London in the end decides to market her custom notebook she had throughout the episode, which is lined with a mirror so she can look at her reflection in class while appearing to study. The kids are annoyed that they won't get any portion of the profit sharing, but London's proud of herself. She doesn't know what gloating is, despite knowing the word in the series pilot.
So you brought us here to gloat?
No. Why would I do that?
You realize gloat means to make others feel bad by your success?
Then I guess that is why I called you in here. Gloaty, gloat, 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 gloat.
London, so nice of you to offer to share your room with Bailey.
Well, I wasn't offering. I was gloating.
This fits in line with the revelation at the end of the Lost at Sea two-parter that London fakes a lot of her stupidity for attention and to get out of doing work, meaning she may well be lying through her teeth when claiming to not know this word. This episode is punctuated with a running gag wherein Kirby's tasked with protecting the $1 million, only to lose it immediately when it's replaced with a sack of cheese. The show's premise is at a breaking point when it introduces so many incredibly stupid characters that it has to use London as the straight man.
You can depend on me. I won't let that money out of my sight.
Kirby, where's the money?
Out of my sight. If anyone finds a sack filled with $1 million in cash, bring it back to me and you'll get a $100 reward.
In the end, we learned that Kirby simply placed the money in the staff fridge, but couldn't find it because it was behind the salad.
Oh, that explains.
London happily claims his $100 reward, not clocking the fact that he lost her $1 million. Kirby is smarter than her. Once again, balance has been restored.
Once upon a sweet life, 3 fairy tales unfold.
She's prettier than you.
A queen rejects what she's been told. A hungry witch cooks up a plan.
Oh no, the witch is coming back!
And
These are magic beans.
magic beans grow a beanstalk on land. How will these stories end? Find out on the Once Upon a Sweet Life special fable-filled event. Next Friday at 8/7 Central on Disney Channel.
Next up is Season 2, Episode 21, Once Upon a Sweet Life, where the SS Tipton docks in Germany.
Hello, I'm Mika. I'm from Germany, and Germany is pretty nice. We have pretzels.
All right, class. This week we will be docking in Germany and visiting the Black Forest.
Okay. It's a forest in the middle of Germany and there's no port near it, so already that's a strike. Like there's not even like a giant river near it for it.
The Black Forest is the setting of countless German fairy tales. So, the students fall asleep in class, and this special 29-minute episode showcases 3 separate dreams which take the shape of classic fairy tales. In the first story, London's dream recreation of Snow White, London, the evil queen, finds herself jealous of Snow White, the only girl who rivals her beauty. This episode sees the long, not-awaited return of London's talking mirror, who this time is not voiced by convicted pedophile Brian Peck, but rather sound-alike Michael Arrington.
If it's any consolation, you have a nice personality.
The mirror sounds like a hell of a boss character. I kind of love that they're doing like fairy tales for Germany. I think that's nice. That's like one German thing that I'm happy whenever it does get represented. It's better than the leather pants, but they're gonna show up, I'm sure.
London dispatches her huntsman to eliminate Snow White, but rather he tells her to run away and hide. So Snow White goes to live with the 3 dwarves. When the evil queen receives word Snow White still lives, she travels there herself to feed her a poisoned apple, but gives her the wrong one, and then just gives up and knocks her unconscious.
I brought you a little housewarming gift.
She talks like she's like a fly or something, like from Beast Wars.
It's like Waspinator. She's dumped into the forest by the dwarves. That's like a basic iMovie page turn.
I also love how you can see her actual hair like under the wig, like it's starting to poke out. Like, look, that's straight up just her normal hair.
There, Prince Charming discovers the sleeping beauty and tries to awaken her with a kiss, only to be violently pepper sprayed. It's like a joke from 2016 that accidentally time traveled to 2011. But unlike something from 2016, she still falls in love with her assaulter regardless. London accidentally eats the poison apple and dies. The end. Cody's dream, I'm not even gonna harp on the unlikelihood of Cody falling asleep in class, is a recreation of Hansel and Gretel.
I called it. I knew it. There we go. By the way, like, such a German stereotype. Oh my god, no one wears these. Except for like one specific celebration in October where the entire purpose is to get drunk. And they're just casually wearing it. Like, it's the German thing and I love it. It's one of my favorite German stereotypes and I'm happy it's here.
This is why I wanted to leave a trail.
It's a furry. Yay. Accurate to Germany. No, actually, that's a gray squirrel. We don't have those in Germany. It should be red.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I went to Canada for my first Sweet Life of Zack and Cody video. There was a black squirrel, and I'd never seen one before. It blew. I didn't even know they could be that color.
Me neither.
It was just pure black, and it was just waddling around, nibbling, having a gay old time. Loved him. The boys discover the lair of a hideous, creepy old woman who feeds Zack sweet treats with the intent of fattening him up and eating him.
She's his sugar mama, no. Also, I will say, like, all the candy is also just, like, it's obviously not German candy. Like, I mean, it's them dreaming, and I believe they're from the US.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they don't imagine, like, German candy, but stuff like Oreos and, like we call the chocolate chip cookies, we call them American cookies over here. I mean, they're very common over here at this point, so if you, like, obviously now if you say like, hey, I want a chocolate cookie, you mean one of those, but when you like go to a bakery, they're called like American cookies. Okay. Okay.
He became an American.
You said that, not me. I love that he still has like the lederhosen, just
grew with him.
Oh no.
A girl who's been baked into a pie warns Hansel and Gretel to leave before it's too late. After a slapstick chase, Zack is able to sleaze his way out of the situation by convincing the woman that she's beautiful and she simply needs a makeover. There, she's paired off with an underage squirrel, and they run away happily ever after.
Oh, he's got the Bavaria hat, yes. Yeah, like the white and blue stripes, that's like Bavaria. That's the flag of that specific state. I feel like this particular dream would have given a lot of kids like very interesting fetishes when they grew up.
I know these actors were getting paid a lot of money to do this show, but I just feel bad for them.
Wow. Tough forest.
Wow, tough forest.
Zach's dream is a retelling of Jack and the Beanstalk, which isn't even a German fairy tale, but that's okay. Zach's mother orders him to sell their cow at the market.
I'm really thirsty. I sure could use a glass of milk.
Don't even think about it.
There he's swindled by a businessman into simply buying beans. You know the drill.
She's all yours. You're gonna need this. Glad that didn't happen while it was in my pocket.
There Zach discovers a harp who won't shut the hell up and a goose who lays golden eggs. Zach sees the goose as his shot to make money for his mother, but a big old giant is not happy about that one bit. Zach descends the beanstalk and his mother smacks him ad nauseum, and this wakes him up. The fairy tale literally doesn't get a resolution whatsoever because that's just where we're at with this show. It's also way shorter than the other two. I don't see why this third one was even here because it feels completely tacked on and half-baked. Miss Tutwiler, who notices her class is asleep, leaves to get a foot job.
He wears a blue shirt, that's why the background is blue.
Was it color coordinated? They are color coordinated to their shirts.
They are. That's why they did it.
That's cool, actually. This is the story that the creative team of The Sweet Life on Deck apparently thought was worth extra runtime to tell. A wonderful series. Closing thoughts on how they represented Germany.
Not at all.
I'm Cole Sprouse from The Sweet Life on Deck, and you are watching Disney Channel.
Wow. Season 2, Episode 22, Marriage 101. It's an excuse for the writers to dunk on Miss Tutwiler's lack of emotional companionship for 22 consecutive minutes.
Now, over the next 2 weeks, you will learn what it's like to be married.
What do you know about marriage? Well, have you ever been married? No. Has anyone ever proposed to you?
I will have
When was the last time you were even on a date?
Stop it! Sometimes you think that someone's a great guy, and then you find out that his business trips are to visit his girlfriend in Pacoima, and another one in Dubuque, and another one in Pittsburgh. I mean, I should have known. What kind of crossing guard takes business trips?
The class partners up to experience a practice marriage, to understand the difficulties of living with a partner and the surprises life throws at you. Bailey and Cody naturally pair up, Woody proposes to Addison, and London pairs herself with Zach, then bribes him into signing a prenup enforced by law to flaunt him around as a trophy husband. Cody and Bailey are as obnoxious as ever, and they deserve to be executed by a firing squad.
Our marriage is going great, isn't it, Bailey Bunny?
It sure is, Cody Kitten.
You two should be spayed and neutered.
Tutwiler spins a wheel to simulate surprising life changes. Cody pretend breaks both of his legs in an accident and becomes bedridden. Zach switches careers from a sanitation engineer, which is what an aptitude test in the previous show's season 2 finale, Aptitude, indicated he would one day have as a profession, to a circus clown. Woody and Addison introduce a child, the role being filled by Marcus. Addison has a lot of explaining to do here, not gonna lie. Bailey tends to Cody's every need, like tucking him in, vacuuming his room, putting his clothes away, and becomes sick and tired of his constant criticism as she misses minute details that seem essential to his persnickety-ass brain. Basically, it's the SpongeBob episode where Squidward refuses to move out of SpongeBob's house. Miss Tutwiler hosts a couples challenge, where all 3 couples are equally inept, and no one manages to score a single solitary point.
What is the last book your spouse read?
For some reason, it's on the sky deck. Who is this crowd? Are a bunch of teenagers simulating marriage as a class assignment the in-cruise entertainment for the passengers of the SS Tipton? We're well past the time of the franchise where we receive explanations for what's happening. Ultimately, all couples fall to infighting, with Woody not wanting kids contrasting with Addison's desire for billions, if not trillions of children.
Well, I love you too, Dad.
Bailey and Cody have a public blowout about his neediness and her lack of attention to detail, I guess. And they break up here and there!
If this is how you're going to treat me when we're really married, then I don't think we have a future.
I agree.
Thank you, Miss Tutwiler, for saving me from wasting my life with the black hole of need.
You are an unemployed, uneducated leech on society. And the only thing I would vote to give you is a handful of antidepressants so that no one else has to be subjected to your constant crying anymore.
Bailey comes to cry, and that's when Miss Tutwiler arrives to declare that what Bailey and Cody had was so good that Bailey simply can't let it go.
I have rarely seen a couple as perfectly matched as you and Cody.
And like, what? For those keeping score, they have a dysfunctional fight like every 4 episodes. This entire story was a 22-minute demonstration of their complete lack of any emotional maturity or compatibility whatsoever. Miss Tutwiler saying this frankly proves she is the least qualified to provide any relationship advice whatsoever, which I think the show would agree with me on. Thankfully, Cody and Bailey aren't one to give up on each other, and we have an episodic status quo to maintain. So Cody arrives to apologize, and the two maintain their relationship, surely to never have any problems with each other again.
I'll never find anyone as good as you.
I'll never find anyone as good as you either.
And I'll never find anyone.
Stay on board. We'll be right back to the Sweet Life on Deck here on Disney XD.
Quick aside, my team and I are working on Para Not Normal, an animated pilot which follows the exploits of a ghost hunting curriculum at a rundown, haunted community college. It will release, eventually, and you'll watch it on the internet. Google says you need to hear about something like 5 to 7 times before you really remember it. So that's just what I'm doing. You know, it's like how Mr. Beast plugs Feastables 9 times per video. That's what I'm doing. Okay, bye. Back to Zach and Cody.
And now back to your fan pick Sweet Life on Deck episode.
Model Behavior is an episode with a lot of moving parts and overlapping storylines, and lots of running gags operating within the individual storylines. Let me break it down for your tiny baby brains to understand. Let me chew your meal for you, babes, and spit it into your mouth. This story is one of the Sweet Life on Deck's final walk-on guest star episodes to feature recurring characters from the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. These being British twins Jessica and Janice, who Zach and Cody dated on and off through the 2nd season. This is also the only returning guest star episode that I have no memory of whatsoever, down to not even recalling these characters despite frequent appearances in the last show. As I observed while watching, Zach and Cody sort of interchangeably dated them sporadically, and there was no consistency in regards to whether Zach was dating Jessica, Zach was dating Janice, Cody was dating Jessica, or Cody was dating Janice. It was a 4-way square polyamorous incest, and all 4 kids were perfectly happy with it.
We think it's wonderful to see a boy who expresses his emotions. Mwah.
And my favorite part is that there were multiple episodes in between featuring other love interests for Zach and Cody. This episode also explicitly references the old season 2 episode, Movies.
We took them to the movies.
Jessica and Janice are currently members of a modeling agency, boarding the SS Tipton for a photo shoot. Cody is horribly thrown off by his ex being around Bailey, and comes to believe that Bailey is jealous when she isn't, and comes to believe that Jessica still has strong feelings for him and is coming on to him when she isn't.
When it comes to Jessica, you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, I'm not worried.
Now I get why you would be jealous with her being a model and all, but it's completely unwarranted.
I'm not jealous.
Methinks the lady doth protest too much. Look, I've kinda got a big problem. You see my girlfriend Bailey? She's the jealous type.
Really? She didn't come across that way.
Oh, trust me, she is. So I would just appreciate it if you would play down what we had together.
What did we have?
Boom, exactly. You know what? Thanks for being a help. You're a great friend. Come on.
Oh.
Bailey, it's not what it looks like. Jessica was teaching me how to samba. Is it hot in here?
No, but I'll go get you some ice water. Do you want anything? Oh, how sweet. No thanks.
Wow. I apologize for Bailey's behavior. She's obviously crazed with jealousy.
An actually jealous London wants to join the photo shoot as a model and presents a certificate signed by the president and Congress decreeing that she is the prettiest woman in the world. The manager, Cindy, is hesitant to let London join because she is exclusively using experienced, professional models and London has no modeling experience. Please disregard the fact that Jessica and Janice explicitly state in the very next scene that this is their very first modeling job, and the fact that London has modeling experience from the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Season 2 episode, Health and Fitness. Fortunately, Mr. Tipton assists London by simply purchasing the modeling agency herself from Cindy with a quick phone call.
How much?
Janice has clear residual feelings for Zack, who she still finds attractive. Zack, though, only finds all of the other models attractive, and to engineer a reason to spend more time with them, opts to throw a party on the sky deck past the model's curfew while Cindy's downstairs, and Mosby's away in Florida for a reunion of his roller skating derby team that he, of course, has. As introducing random absurd aspects of this character's backstory has been a staple since the beginning, even if the diminishing returns are evident. This is notably the second time the SS Tipton has docked in Florida, the first being Season 1's Flowers and Chocolate. Both episodes take place entirely on the boat, and Florida is only half-heartedly mentioned. In the original series, Jessica and Janice would regularly mimic each other's sentences.
So romantic. Really romantic.
Here they've grown far more independent.
This is so exciting. Really exciting. Oh, Janice, just once, can't you come up with your own adjective?
Love the character development. With Mosby gone, Zack's free to throw an unauthorized bouncy castle party on the central sky deck of the ship, as if Mr. Mosby is somehow the only adult authority figure capable of stopping him from doing this. The girls have a wonderful time, and London wants to get rid of all of them. Fortunately, having permission to get rid of anyone she doesn't like signed by the president and Congress. Marcus distracts her by giving her an air mattress to inflate with her bare lungs, and I believe this is the very same mattress Maddie Fitzpatrick inflated during her guest appearance in Season 1's Maddie on Deck. When Cindy starts to head up to the sky deck, Woody, who's recently had his braces removed, is given a makeover to resemble a model and distract her. He assumes the mantle of Woodlander, because every Disney Channel sitcom episode from the 2000s is just riffing on an early 2000s adult comedy movie and making them considerably less funny. Woodlander's distraction goes smoothly, until Mosby returns early because nobody showed up to his reunion.
Maybe they're hiding in your hair.
Mosby naturally recognizes Woody and immediately identifies something's amiss among us. As they enter the elevator, Woody exhibits quick thinking for the first time in his entire life and he fucks up the control panel, stranding it in the shaft. Mosby and Cindy spend several minutes trapped in the elevator as he climbs on her shoulders to access a vent. So I've got to hand it to this actress, Kathy Lee Gifford, special guest star, for being one of the show's few guest actors who can match the energy of Phil Lewis as a scene partner.
No, not talking preserves precious oxygen.
All my so-called friends just disappeared. Even my kids wouldn't take a picture with me.
I get it. People don't want to spend time with you. Add me to the list.
Jessica and Bailey meet up and discuss how Cody is a bit of a quirkster, casually chatting as pals.
Honestly, I'm not even sure he's the one I dated.
Unfortunately, Bailey's hand gets stuck in Jessica's hair, and Cody mistakes this for a fight, where he comes by to demonstrate that he is just the worst.
Don't fight over me. I'm just not worth it.
Jessica and Bailey simply entertain Cody's male fantasy by pretending they were fighting due to jealousy, and his superb conflict resolution skills put their issue to rest.
Do you think he bought it?
Hook, line, and sinker.
Women power. Mosby and Cindy escape and arrive on the sky deck, where the last of the bouncy castles have been thrown overboard and the models duck beneath the counter. The boys seemingly escape undetected, only to be punished off screen and told by Mosby to clean all of the inner tubes and floaties out of shark-infested waters. Zack's disappointed that none of the girls seemed interested in him. He spent the party stamping his phone number on their faces, by the way. Janice tells him she was interested in him all along, but he was too ignorant to notice. But it's too late now because she introduces her new boyfriend, Woodlander.
I knew I would land her.
Okay, that was pretty good. This episode introduces an interesting continuity note. Early in the story, Mosby says he's not even 40 years old.
And for the record, I'm not even 40.
In the previous show, Season 2's Free Tippy established that 65 is a mandatory retirement age at the Tipton hotels, and in Season 3's A Tale of Two Houses, Mr. Mosby says he's 26 years away from retirement, thus placing Mosby at 39 years old at the time. There, Zack and Cody are early into their freshman year of high school. For this statement to not be an error, for Mosby to still be below 40 years old, the entirety of the Sweet Life on Deck has to have occurred within the same year. as Season 3's A Tale of Two Houses, placing Zach and Cody early in their sophomore year. Seeing how the Lost at Sea two-parter was the start of a new school year, that would mean the last 14 episodes must have taken place within a couple weeks. At the story's end, London is cut out of all the photos in the photo shoot, Sydney's excuse being that London was too gorgeous and distracted from the other models.
That is such a load of sheer genius.
As the models leave, Zach proves that old habits die hard, as he once again disguises himself as a woman to stay in the company of a room full of models. He's pulled aside by Mosby, where he's skinned alive by a firing squad off-screen.
Friday. Check out this lamp. A discovery in Morocco.
Wake up, I'm ready to wish! You're a genie?
No, I'm a lawyer wearing a turban.
Will grant a wish
I'm moving away!
to one lucky passenger.
Stop her before she wishes for something stupid like world peace! Big dog!
Wishing impossible on an all-new Sweet Life on Deck. Friday at 8/7 Central, part of Night of Premieres on Disney Channel.
In Rock the Casbah, the SS Tipton docks in Morocco.
Hello, I go by Cream and I'm from Morocco.
So does this feel like an authentic depiction of a marketplace you might see in Morocco?
Honestly, now that I look at it up close, most of the decoration doesn't feel Moroccan. It doesn't give me a Moroccan feel.
The gang visits a marketplace and Cody eyes a pair of earrings he wants to purchase for Bailey. Zach tells Cody to let him do the negotiation, but Zach's bartering backfires and the two of them leave empty-handed with the price settling far higher than it used to be, and another customer swiftly purchases them.
The haggling is a Moroccan thing for sure.
Zach feels bad for ruining his brother's chances and agrees to slave away for Youssef the salesman to get another pair. Youssef has a specific task for Zach. His mother is trying to open a restaurant. Zach simply has to eat the food and tell her it's good to encourage her. What precedes is a sequence of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom-esque cultural insensitivity with the shit Zach eats and spits out. Oh, I have a bad feeling about where this...
Oh my god. No, don't do this, no. No.
Eyeballs. Goat eyeballs, to be exact.
No, we don't. There is only one exception. And it's on the day of Eid, when we what's I'm gonna say, slaughter sheep. There is a tradition within the older generation. That's when once the head is cooked, you can eat the eyes, but it's only once a year, and not most people do it. Other than that, you can't even get your hands on so many eyes unless you're a butcher.
Oh, those aren't the chocolate chips. They are beetles. Eat fast or they try to scurry out of your mouth.
We don't eat insects. That's not an Arabic thing in general, not just Moroccan. The mom's outfit is not Moroccan at all. It doesn't feel Moroccan at all. That's not how you tie a scarf. Half her head is exposed. That's barely a thing here. Especially if it's someone older. They would never do that.
Boys, yalla! I have found one more pair of those earrings. I saved them just for you.
Does this seem like an authentic accent to you?
No, not at all. That sounded Egyptian, not Moroccan.
In the B story, Bailey comes away with a magic lamp which Marcus, London, and Woody suspect to be magical due to a series of coincidences. Or are they?
Oh no.
Yeah, they're just going with the Aladdin route. It's just...
Don't do this, no. It's a Middle Eastern thing, not Moroccan. That just doesn't fit. If they wanted to do something Middle Eastern, they could have set it in Egypt or something like that. That scarf on Bailey is kind of inappropriate. Scarves like those aren't worn like that. They're worn by belly dancers. You wouldn't see someone with that type of scarf in public. Also, the carpet design is not Moroccan at all.
Everyone fights over who gets to use Bailey's magic lamp. After a ridiculously long time-padding dream where everyone's wishes are granted, Bailey wakes up and decides that none of her selfish friends should get the luxury of rubbing the lamp. Everyone chases her around to get it. London seemingly doesn't recognize a camel.
Big dog! Another big dog!
Despite having claimed to kiss one in the original series episode Aptitude.
London, how was Morocco?
Great! I kissed a camel!
With London being established as a huge celebrity there, and Maddie saving the Moroccan ambassador from choking to death. that seems to have been completely forgotten about by the writer's room, with no mention to those preceding events, or London's celebrity status. The lamp ultimately lands in Cody's hands, who cluelessly wishes he could have gotten the earrings for Bailey. Just then Zach arrives, having finally procured them for the original price. Cody and Bailey hug, and Zach throws up in a bucket.
Nothing about the episode gave me a Moroccan feel. It just gave a distinctly Arabic feel, like in a dystopia where only the Middle East exists as Arabic. I don't know what I expected from Disney Channel from the 2000s to 2010s.
I'm Debbie Ryan from The Sweet Life on Deck, and you're watching Disney Channel. Oh wait. That's better.
In I Break for Whales, Zach and Cody commit an actual terrorist act on international waters. Bailey and Cody have adopted blue whales and are tracking a whale pod across the vast ocean.
She's a beauty. Look at her shape.
The gentle curves of her body.
The way the water glistens off her skin. Ooh. Is that the new swimsuit issue?
Much to their horror, they discover the pod is on an imminent collision course with the SS Tipton, where the propellers pose a massive risk to the safety of the whales. The forever off-screen Captain Lunsford refuses to stop the boat because, as it turns out, the SS Tipton is sailing toward the ribbon-cutting ceremony of a brand new Tipton hotel in Valparaiso. Out of options, environmentalists Cody and Bailey decide to break into the ship's engine room, cut power, and lock themselves inside until the pod safely passes. Marcus is trying to sample whale sounds for a new single he's working on called Baby I'm a Humpback, where he dangles his tape recorder into the water from the top deck of the cruise ship rather than, say, any lower deck. Zach comes just because, basically. This is the first episode of the show in a very, very long time where it's actually relevant that the series takes place on a boat. The Lost at Sea two-parter is the most recent example, unless you count Bermuda Triangle where an oceanographic landmark is a plot point, but the boat and seafaring aspect of the premise don't really matter. But I'm a bit confused by the conflict here because the cruise ship being on a direct collision course with a pod of blue whales would be bad for the cruise ship itself, yes? And the passengers? Am I insane? Now Zach, Cody, Bailey, and Marcus, wearing intimidating disguises, hack into Mosby's laptop and make their intentions clear.
We are soldiers of the Endangered Animal Protection League.
I thought we were the League of Endangered Animal Protectors.
Somebody already had that website, Mrs. Pink.
With no method of breaking through the door, Mosby orders the heat turned on in the engine room.
Kirby! Any luck getting through the door?
Oh, you can't get through this door. I'm making a grilled cheese sandwich.
There's been 5 Kirby food jokes by the 9-minute mark of this episode, by the way.
Well, we tried. Who wants a sandwich?
Mosby and London have the idea to sneak in through the air ducts, and for reasons that are never explained, because the only objective was to be, a bit silly, Kirby is sent into the engine room through the vent system and collapses inside. There, they quickly change his mind by showing him a 10-second nature documentary shaming mankind.
Nature's gentle giant of the deep.
Oh, they're cute.
Once they were plentiful until man hunted them for their oil-rich insides. Shame on you, mankind. Shame.
The horror!
Now he opts to stay aligned with the kids in protest against the ship's travels, forcing Mosby and London to readjust their plan.
The ship is still not going. Boom, boom. That means I'm not getting my clink, clink, and Daddy's waiting for me. Tick-tock. Soon I'm gonna start to go wham, wham.
London used to talk like a normal person. Oxford Languages defines terrorism as the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. While there's clearly no violence in play, the fact that they're intimidating and imprisoning a group of civilians while making threatening messages is blatant intimidation, as is this. Zach and Cody are terrorists, you could argue, and I am. London's able to break into the engine room with no further plan of how to escape or resolve the situation. She claims her bathtub is 100 feet long. No, it literally isn't, girl. We've seen your bathtub. You live in a hotel. What's next? Mosby tries to trick the kids into believing the whales have been spotted safely passing by playing footage of Free Billy. After this doesn't work, he breaks into the engine room himself. He's so mad that the entire wall shakes when he hits it. But fortunately, he's easily swayed by the same 10-second nature documentary and completely changes his tune.
Shame on you, mankind. Shame.
I like the idea that these 10 seconds can literally change the opinion of everyone who watches them, like a psyop. So Mosby makes a sacrifice and decides to stay in the engine room to let the kids escape the heat exhaustion. And he totally could have betrayed them here and just got the ship going again once they left, but he didn't. He's a good man, because it was one damn convincing 10-second nature documentary. The ship misses the ribbon-cutting ceremony, much to Mr. Tipton's dismay, but it's okay because the whales are saved. This episode's closing scene is one of the most mind-numbingly confusing things I've ever seen. The whale pod swims by the SS Tipton, which has stayed stationary for hours and hours and hours, and everyone watches in awe and wonder. I'm sorry, but if these two entities were on a direct collision course, couldn't you have just stopped the ship for like 1 hour and then resumed forward motion? How the hell did the whale pod end up right beside the ship, close enough to spray Mosby with blowhole cum?
I needed that.
Wasn't the entire goal of their protest to keep the whales as far away from the SS Tipton as possible? They literally could have kept going without stopping whatsoever, and if they had, they wouldn't have ended up even remotely close to the whale pod. Shoot them with a dehydration gun! But not a single character acknowledges their stunning tactical failure. Everyone serenades their personal adopted whale, having accomplished not a single thing today except for instilling a sense of fear and panic in thousands of civilians trapped by terrorists in the middle of the ocean.
It probably made them forget he just clear-cut a rainforest the size of Texas.
Seven Seas News is an episode that's randomly exceptionally more entertaining than the rest of the series, yet still isn't remotely good. It has really rapid-fire gags, and a larger than usual number of them actually hit because this episode feels like it has a real fire behind it. Miss Tutwiler, a former reporter, assigns the class to run a news program broadcast live to the ship's passengers. Cody is a field reporter, Woody's a cameraman, Bailey and Zach are co-anchors, and London's a meteorologist.
You mean I have to hurtle toward the Earth at thousands of miles per hour?
Well, you don't have to, but I'd appreciate it.
From there, the episode is told through a series of back-to-back broadcasts in which things go more and more off the rails. Zach plays the role of a sexist male anchor.
A recent report from the Union of Maritime Workers found that male employees still make 30% more than their female counterparts.
Way to go, guys! Let's shoot for 40.
Cody's field report about bacteria in the hot tub causes mass panic, and London speaks about the weather within this specific room rather than outside. The next day, while their ratings are through the roof, Kirby has mistaken it for a parody news show, and this puts a huge chip on Cody's shoulder.
Limbo contest controversy. If a little person wins, is it cheating or a win with an asterisk? And that's coming right up after these short messages.
The next day is similarly dysfunctional as London puts on a lime green jacket to blend into the weather map chroma key, and Zach continues to humiliate Bailey on air.
Welcome to Seven Seas News. I'm your anchorman, Zach Martin.
And I'm Bailey.
Our lead story tonight.
And I'm Wendy Worm.
Yes, we know.
In comes Cody with a breaking and panic-inducing story. The ship is missing a passenger. Unfortunately, he has no evidence to back up this claim whatsoever, prompting the ire of his teacher.
And great reporters, they follow their hunches.
They also back them up with sources. And if you don't find one, it's gonna hurt your grade. And you'll have to do an on-air retraction.
Never. I've never had to do a retraction before.
You've never done a story before.
Hey, shut up, Woody.
Woody, the camera!
On deck's starting to become frustrating because it's hitting the critical point mini shows do when they've been on this long, where all of the characters are ridiculously mean to each other as a baseline and a cheap source of laughs.
I told you to put a little makeup on that frying pan you call a face.
You're wearing makeup?
Yeah, you might want to try it. I see you're still going with the Walking Dead look.
It was Tyler! Your pants are all wrinkly!
This poor woman. It gets really grating, and as I've said in previous videos, it's really kind of screwed up that this is what they were airing to a bunch of young, hyper-impressionable children. Because even as an adult who wouldn't be swayed into acting like this, it's just not that funny.
Hi, Mom! And Steve.
Does this imply that Woody's parents are on the ship? The next day, Cody anonymously interviews Kirby about the missing passenger, who they managed to identify as Richard Gold.
Good evening, I'm Zach Martin.
And I'm...
No time for that!
They shoot in the ship's lounge for the first time in a long while, making me question why they set so many restaurant and dance scenes up on the skydeck when this space was just vacant elsewhere in the soundstage. The next day brings the final news report.
Good evening, I'm Zach Martin with a special report.
Bailey Pickett!
Cody and Woody locate Richard Gould's cabin and investigate it as content. Here's where the episode really makes clear that it's just a vicious mockery of the sensationalism of modern journalism.
It's Newscopter Tipton 1, our eye in the sky. Wait, we're inside. There's no room for a helicopter in here. Ah, mayday, mayday! Ah! We're getting reports of an accident with Tipton 1. We'll continue to follow the story and bring you details as they become available. Back to you, Cody. Okay.
It really feels like a pointedly brutal takedown of the 24-hour news cycle, in which time is spent asking ridiculously specific questions to pad out the runtime of the broadcasts.
We are moments away from finding out what lies beyond this door as security guard Kirby Morris figures out how to gain entry. Kirby?
I was just gonna knock.
Has Kirby given any indication of how he plans on knocking? Will he use his knuckles, or will he use some sort of knocking stick?
I could absolutely be reading too much into this. Like, I might be giving the Sweet Life on Deck a lot of credit here. But I really feel like this was a motivating factor behind this episode, at the very least on a subconscious level. They break into the dim cabin, which is filled with mannequins and women's clothing.
Well, we certainly are learning a lot about Richard Gould.
Kirby's had a mini doll of himself throughout the episode. Today was the doll's last day before retirement, and amusingly, he dies.
Stay with me! Turn the officer down! Turn the officer down!
The mystery unravels when it turns out that this is London's extra storage room, and she's been using the name Richard Gould as an alias. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Zach does get his comeuppance today.
Well, here's a little special delivery. Hey! Oops, forgot the stamp.
Ow! Ow! Hey, watch your hair!
Oh, you think that's bad? Check out your mascara.
The broadcast comes to an end as Ms. Tutwiler gets tangled in the weather green screen. The next day, 7 Seas News has been harshly cancelled after only 4 episodes. But Ms. Tutwiler is proud of Cody for being a real journalist, sensing a scoop and uncovering a real story along the way. His initial claim without evidence is forgiven, and he is absolved of his sins.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Cody. Now I'm supposed to get by with just one closet.
And a shoe submarine.
And a clothing blimp.
And a purse barge.
What's your point?
The time slot is replaced with Boat Cops, starring Kirby Morris, which would almost certainly be a more entertaining show than The Sweet Life on Deck, with different writers. But I almost imagine anything would be a more entertaining show than On Deck if it had different writers.
Cody's low. We are speeding towards Antarian space and are doomed. Zach's low. Hurry up, dipstick. We're down to 1 minute.
Holy Hanky, what is going on here? Prepare to be destroyed.
Starship Tipton, an all-new Sweet Life on Deck event, Friday, May 14th at 8/7 Central.
Whenever I think of how utterly bizarre this stupid series is, my mind almost always goes to Season 2, Episode 27, Starship Tipton, a fully fledged Star Trek homage which sees the cast of the SS Tipton travel to the distant future.
Man, I like these outfits.
Speak for yourself. The guys in red always get killed.
This feels like the Family Guy Star Wars specials, where they're just making observations that are mind-numbingly basic and well-known now, but were probably groundbreaking information to casual audiences in the late 2000s.
Why are you wearing Han's clothes? Seriously, watch the actual movie. Lando is wearing Han's clothes in this scene. It's really weird.
In a very short cold open, Mr. Mosby comes to scold Zach after a new prank, only for a second Mosby to follow. I'm seeing double, 4 Mosbys. A brawl breaks out between the Mosbys. For the first time in the series, there really aren't obvious doubles. It's actually really seamlessly composited. There's even overlapping between the 2 Mosbys in the same shot. Miles more effortful than any other time a Disney Channel sitcom puts 2 of one actor in the same shot. The Mosby doppelganger's face gets ripped off, revealing a really impressive animatronic prosthetic underneath. After getting disabled and reactivating, Robot Mosby explains he's been sent back in time to annihilate Zach Martin after Zach's descendant Zerk's prank of setting the Starship Tipton on a direct course to Planet Bikini went awry and endangered the entirety of humankind.
Zerk's prank disabled our spacecraft's controls, and now we're hurtling toward Antarian space, the most horrible place in the universe. Violation of Antarian space would be considered an act of war, and zillions of people in the future will die.
Oh well, bummer.
While Zach sees no problem with letting zillions of people die, London and Marcus are equally vicious when they tell Zach it's been nice knowing him. Cody, oh by the way, no one even acts remotely surprised or in disbelief at the fact that this robot's here from the future. Cody thinks he can use his smarts to restore the Starship Tipton's engines and encourages Robot Mosby to bring all of them to the future. There's a moment where his mouth doesn't move. I hope the artists responsible for that mistake lose their employment and all of their family's health care. The group comes to the future, where the Tipton Starfleet was designed based on the SS Tipton. No one on the crew seems to care or notice, but despite this, Cody still thinks they're drawing too much attention to themselves and should wear uniforms to blend in.
Note to self, this outfit has no sparkle!
It literally does. From here, everyone splits off for the various storylines. Mosby's mistaken for his robot and taken to a repair room where he's basically unknowingly tortured.
Here it is! Eyeball scoop!
I guess the robot budget went to Mosby's face. They're clearly filming this in the secondary classroom set, but they've turned the camera at a diagonal, which makes it feel like a completely different space. Oh my god, the secondary classroom set is just a dorm, but they extended the wall out a little bit. That's crazy. I've been doing this for months. I didn't notice. Meanwhile, London heads to her quarters and discovers her great-great-great-great-great-grandson, Rome Tipton, played by Star Trek alum George Takei, who's best known in pop culture for his role as Master Yokotron in Transformers Animated Season 3, Episode 6, 5 Survivors of Doom, written by Andrew Robinson.
I hate Daddy for making me go to this stupid space school.
You're in school?
Don't tell anyone, but I've been left back a few times.
The two of them immediately click and become besties. I like that he's also named after the capital city of a European country. One can't help but observe that London fell in love with a man when she visited Rome in this very series. Mayhaps they reconnected after the show, and their late descendants decided to name their offspring after the city in which two of their ancestors met. Furthermore, mayhaps two of London's ancient ancestors met in London, and her name is a reference to that fact. Meanwhile, Bailey and Marcus sit in the captain's chair and accidentally hail the Antarian commander, and Bailey's attempt to negotiate peace only aggravate him further. Bailey tries to introduce him to the concept of music, of which he's never heard. Then 2 minutes after a performance from Lil, the Antarian commander says singing on his own accord, meaning that despite not knowing about music, they do know about singing.
Also, as far as your singing goes, 4 thumbs down.
Ultimately, he begins raining laser fire down on the starship Tipton, prompting the ship's crew to evacuate. We learn that the figure doing maintenance on Mosby actually isn't a robot, but it's an alien resembling Miss Tutwiler doing Purple Face.
Emma?
No, my name is...
After Mosby proves he's not a robot, she finds him hot and they decide to dance together since there are seconds for being obliterated. Meanwhile, Zach and Cody have tried desperately to regain control of the ship, which apparently sounds like a fax machine.
It's not working!
Despite this occurring simultaneously with Bailey and Marcus's hijinks, actively cutting back and forth between them, there are multiple distracting shots where the captain's chair is completely empty to the twins' left. The entire Antarian army decides to come to the starship Tipton, only to apparently be insect-sized. The cast decides to commit mass genocide by stepping on them. Then Zach is ultimately able to succeed where Cody isn't, simply by smacking the engine and reigniting the ship.
System control restored. Please, stop hitting me.
Although I will say, if he hadn't, and Zach had wound up dead through this adventure, that would have paradoxically eliminated Zerk from existence in the timeline and prevented this scenario from unfolding at all. The next day, everyone decides to transport themselves home. Miss Tutwiler Alien expresses their love for Robot Mosby, who decides he'd rather kill himself. In the end, we learn that all of this was a story told by Zach to Miss Tutwiler as a long-winded explanation for him not doing his homework.
Okay, I should give you an F, but I will give you a D, since, in your little fantasy, you gave me 2 boyfriends.
One of them hurled himself out of the space lock.
So my last boyfriend hurled himself out of my car.
But then we learn maybe it wasn't all fictional, as Zerk, who had been blasted into space as punishment, finally lands on planet Bikini only to find it populated by an alien resembling Miss Gurgly who smacks him with her purse. We can't move on from this episode yet. This whole thing was filled with random pop culture humor, which the show is still obsessed with.
We set him adrift in the cold darkness of space where no one can hear him scream.
Is that supposed to be a humorous name? Like calling a bald guy Curly or a short guy Stretch?
Oh my.
This is very much in line with Once Upon a Sweet Life, where we're just recreating fairy tale stories with Zach and Cody characters, because at this point, the writers are just creatively fried. I can only imagine. I think I sense them having fun with this one, but it also feels like the writers maybe watched a few episodes of the original series back in the 60s as kids, and then just vaguely remembered some of it. There's nothing deep cut or inspired here. It's very basic stuff, and I'm not even a Star Trek fan. I watch Mike Stoklasa and Rich Evans complain about it a few times a year, and that's basically my commitment to that entire franchise. I also went to high school with 3 separate people named after Jadzia Dax from Deep Space Nine. In my 30 student National Honor Society, there was a girl named Jadzia and a guy named named Dax, who were both explicitly named after that character by their parents, but neither of them knew each other, neither of them found the coincidence remotely interesting, and made me lose my mind through much of high school. Also, George Takei dies.
No, stop that,
This is perhaps a reference to Master Yokotron dying in Transformers Animated Season 3, Episode 6, 5 Servers of Doom, written by Andrew Robinson.
Next Friday on Disney Channel, it's the spaciest Sweet Life ever. The Starship Tipton Special Sweet Life on Deck event. Something sci-fi has come aboard. And it's out to attack Zack.
Must annihilate Zachary Martin.
Now, Zack and his friends must travel forward in time.
Welcome to the Starship Tipton.
Alien battles will be waged.
Stay back! I'm armed!
To help save the planet.
Let's go kick some alien butt.
Prepare to be destroyed.
I'm gonna need some time to tidy up a little bit.
The future will meet the past.
Boy, Jake! Oh. Can you take a picture of me and my grandson?
And outer space will never quite be the same.
Attention crew, we are initiating evacuation procedure.
Ow! Stupid meteorites!
Starship Tipton, a special all-new Sweet Life on Deck event. Next Friday at 8/7 Central on Disney Channel.
In Mean Chicks, Bailey bets London $1 million that she can't be nicer to her. Bailey is a loser and deserves to be bullied.
I'm having carrot shavings and watercress on spelt bread. Your mouth says, ugh, but your large intestine says, thank you for taking care of me. And your small intestine says, me too!
To assist her, London seeks exposure therapy from Mr. Blanket, the ship's psychotic psychologist. Blanket gives her a vest that'll tickle her every time she thinks about being mean to Bailey, which is what he used to cure his crippling addiction to smelling rabbits.
I'm down to 1 rabbit a day now.
Good for you and rabbits everywhere.
See? I have no desire to smell again.
After an unfortunate tickling malfunction gives London 7 years of exposure therapy in 20 minutes, she's now eagerly polite to Bailey, who in turn starts amping up her hootenanny cantankerous farm talk to an obnoxious and unfortunately ineffectual degree. Knowing she's gonna lose, Bailey starts selling cupcakes to raise $1 million.
I'll take one, Bailey.
Oh, thanks, Marcus. That'll be $100,000.
She loses, and now $1 million in a bet. She arranges a $1 per insult deal for London to insult her 1 million times to pay off her debt.
$1 million at $1 an insult is
100 insults.
The episode pretends that London's gonna be a far nicer person now, but this is simply not true.
Well, the volcano on my island just erupted, and that stupid lava's everywhere.
I can't clean boiling magma.
What is that, a union thing?
Meanwhile, Cody is randomly attacked by a seagull over and over and over, who poops on his towels, destroys his room, and mauls him nearly to death in an elevator. Cody takes matters into his own hands to climb up to the seagull's nest on the side of the boat. This is the most visually interesting and fun thing the series has ever done, and it's not even close, as he Batman 66s his way past Mosby's porthole. The seagull bites the rope and causes him to get life-ruining injuries. Cody screams over and over, basically in every episode now, and it gets on my last nerve. There's a porthole transition over a porthole. That's crazy. In the end, Cody finally comes to peace with the seagull and accepts it as a worthy and beautiful creature, only for a full-size flock to descend from the heavens to attack him. One last thing of note is the cold open where Mr. Mosby gets stung by a bee.
We will win, Mr. Mosby, don't move.
Was it on my head?
No.
Mr. Blanket decides to cure Mosby with exposure therapy, first by unleashing a huge can of bees when Cody's ascending the rope, and later by jump-scaring Mosby while dressed as a bee in the hot tub. Mosby's finally able to overcome his cartoonishly absurd fear.
Ever since I got stung by that... you know what?
No what?
The letter between A and C?
5?
No. Bumble.
Gum!
No, it rhymes with knee.
Foot!
Oh.
You know I'm charging by the hour.
Oh, I know.
It's B. B.
Where?
We never see Mr. Blanket again. In my opinion, they ate him.
Friday,
I love Paris.
the Sweet Life on Deck season finale shocker begins. And it's so big, it will take 2 nights to capture it all.
Get him!
The SS Tipton docks in France.
City of lights, romance.
Your eyes shine brighter than all the stars in the sky.
It's love on the rocks.
I saw him kissing some hideous French girl.
She's with some other guy. Maybe we should just break up.
Break Up in Paris. Then, Saturday at 8, 7 Central, be here for Break Up in Paris Extended Edition.
Please don't hurt us.
And see an all-new story when Marcus meets his imposter.
I'm the real Lil.
Break Up in Paris, the Sweet Life on Deck season finale shocker. Starts Friday at 8, 7 Central on Disney Channel.
The 2-part season 2 finale, Break Up in Paris, is one of those episodes that I clearly remember and simultaneously don't remember at all. The SS Tipton is docked in Paris, France.
Hi, I'm Adam Kaufman. I live in a small town 1 hour from Paris, but I know the city pretty well. The nearest port may be a 3-hour drive. There is the Seine, which passes through Paris, but you could never put there a boat the same size as the one on the show. There you have some boat with 50 people on it, but not that giant cruiser. So no, they could never arrive to Paris. You could never find just this empty coast with a French flag, and it's gigantic, that French flag. It's taller than buildings. It may be one of the fakest things I've ever seen.
Cody and Bailey are excited to celebrate their 1-year anniversary. Setting this finale is exactly 365 days removed from the first season's finale. Cody wants to ensure his anniversary plans go perfectly, so he enlists London to assist him on a lengthy practice date.
And if I see you again, I will flatten you like a crepe.
France. What's that? Oh, it's a map of the world. I color in all the countries where Cody's been kicked out of restaurants.
We've only seen that happen once before, but I'm really amused by the idea that it's happened enough for Mosby to have a chart. Meanwhile, Bailey rejects the relentless advances of a street painter named Jean-Luc.
I have a boyfriend.
And I have a goldfish. See, look how much we are learning about each other.
He's so American. That's not a Frenchman. He should have my horrible accent, not this one.
Bailey arrives to visit Cody on the Eiffel Tower, only to see him practice kissing London. But she doesn't know that's who that is. She leaves crying, cliffhanger.
And well, obviously there should be far more people on the Eiffel Tower. Those barriers are totally fake, they're much higher, it's really well protected. And how could Bailey go on the Eiffel Tower so quick? It's a 3-hour queue. You can't just go on the Eiffel Tower. I had lots of friends from other countries come to visit Paris. You never go on the Eiffel Tower multiple days. This day of my trip, I will go up the Eiffel Tower. But you never go multiple times, especially not only at night. Mm-hmm. It's expensive, it takes lots of time to prepare. So the fact that she just wound up on the Eiffel Tower is so unrealistic. And obviously you could never see the moon. It's so polluted.
Zack and Woody look to court human beings of the female variety.
We're gonna start at the Paris Opera House to pick up some musical babes. Then we're gonna head over to Montmartre to pick up some artistic babes. And then we're gonna head over to the left bank for left-handed babes.
Woody has a satchel with him, which Zack keeps saying looks like a purse. Laugh track, a man with a purse, laugh track. A few days ago, I was walking with my drone case and someone in a passing truck yelled, "Fat!" out the window, and I had to do an emergency drip check, and I was like, I don't even look slightly zesty right now. Homophobia is so bad these days, even the straights are under attack. Woody's satchel gets swapped out with a woman's purse, that woman being the evil art thief Katarina.
Someone stole my stolen painting.
That sounds more Russian than French.
They eventually notice the mix-up and they see a note indicating an upcoming meeting with a woman named Stephanie. They go to give the purse back, but Stephanie turns out to be a man named Stefani, an illegal art buyer who starts chasing Zack and Woody for knowing too much about this dangerous underworld.
I mean, there are tons of art traffic in Paris, so that's not unrealistic. That kind of works.
I was expecting a woman.
I am trying to find the woman here. I am French. That's Russian, that's not French. I know it's for a comic purpose that he's yelling and nobody reacts, but especially in Paris, people love to be quiet. They never have to see you yelling on the streets. They hate being seen, French people. If you ask a French person for something in the street, they will bark at you. But people on the street are especially unpleasant. And they hate people talking in English. They really hate tourists, especially English tourists. If you ask for a direction in an English accent, they will say the opposite one, just because they hate tourists. I don't want to be too harsh on French people, but also I'm being too harsh on French people.
They purchase typical French outfits to blend in, and they hop on a bike to escape, only to accidentally end up merging with the Tour de France on a wonderful green screen.
The Tour de France is so supervised, you could never do that. But once again, it's a sitcom, it's fine. So how did you arrive here so soon? Where were they? In a field? That's 3 hours away from a train. You could never ride there in 2 hours. Those places exist, but 5 hours away from Paris. I mean, even my tiny town isn't like that.
Pardonnez-moi, do you by chance have any jam?
Earlier, Mosby reveals another wonderful component of his rich backstory.
The U.S. cycling team was training two of its most promising members, Lance Armstrong and Marion Spokes Mosby. I was careening down a hill, my shaved legs slicing through the wind, when my chain broke, as did my tibia, my fibula, and my dreams.
Now Zach and Woody accidentally caused the entire Tour de France to crash. They were the blueprint. Mosby ends up unwillingly whisked onto a bike, where he goes on to win the Tour de France, only to then be outed as a fake participant and chased by an angry mob. Zach and Woody are grabbed by Stefani and his goons. Cliffhanger, what's gonna happen?
The 1 hour season finale, Sweet Life on Deck, Friday, June 18th at 8, 7 Central on Disney Channel.
Marcus has had a tiny sub-storyline in Break Up in Paris, which is completely removed from the main plot of the episode. It adds up to be maybe like 5 minutes across both parts, and it's so irrelevant that it wasn't even in the original airing, which really goes to show how tacked on Marcus feels to this series in general. To quickly address it, Marcus discovers a Lil impersonator has been stealing his thunder in France, under the name Petite Petite. He tracks down a young boy named Dante who performs his moves and his music, and also stole Marcus's agent/godfather. Marcus is forced to prove his identity with a dance battle, after which Dante suggests they should work together again sometime. And they do follow through on this in season 3. Look at that. That must have been really confusing to kids who didn't see the extended cut. Bailey, meanwhile, not having a great time.
Take that, you no good cheating jerk!
She returns to Jean-Luc and accepts his affection.
Oh no, that is awful!
His accent is getting worse.
Cody, who's been waiting hours on the tower for their anniversary dinner, starts to become agitated and looks for her.
Out of the millions of people in Paris, I'm gonna find the one person I'm looking. What?
Luckily, London takes it upon herself to clear up the misunderstanding.
Cody loves me. He really loves me.
Bailey abandons Jean-Luc, who London swiftly takes an interest in. It's been a while, but this is like the 3rd time London's done this. Bailey runs up to the tower to apologize, and everything goes to shit.
And by the way, it went a heck of a lot better with her.
Oh, so you're saying you would have enjoyed our anniversary more if I weren't here?
You weren't here. Well, thanks for waiting a whole 12 hours before you got over me and moved on to another guy. Oh, yeah, I saw how nice he was being. I can't believe you were stupid enough to fall for that.
Did you just call me stupid?
They're worse than Alex and Mason. At least Mason wasn't an incel.
Zach and Woody have spent the entire episode trying to escape from a crate inside a cargo plane. They're able to slip on a parachute and jump for their lives.
I can't believe how sweaty my back is! That's not sweat!
Stefani pursues them and throws his shoes at them, and you can randomly hear a man laughing on the set here, and they left that in the episode.
What the heck?
On the same set than before.
Oh. You're gonna love where they land.
No, if something was to land on the Eiffel Tower, every military jet would shoot that thing out of the sky. If there was to be a terrorist attack in Paris, it will be on the Eiffel Tower. It's like the most supervised place in France.
You know what? If you don't appreciate what I was trying to do here, then maybe we should just break up.
Maybe we should.
Is that what you want?
Is that what you want? Then it's over.
Fine.
This was horrifying as a young child. I never would have guessed the relationships could end. I'd never been provided this exciting information. I do remember being like actually distraught and heavily invested in this. This has always been one of the main things I remembered about this show. Little did Cody know when he created the popsicle stick Eiffel Tower in season 2 episode 24, Lost in Translation from the original series, that he was foreshadowing a truly devastating and momentous occasion in his life.
Why did they fall for so long?
Katarina, who we haven't seen in like 30 minutes, bursts onto the SS Tipton looking for her purse, only to be caught by Mosby as Zack and Woody recover the stolen art. With this triumphant and supremely happy ending to a wonderful and infinitely enjoyable story, the second season of The Sweet Life on Deck comes to a close.
I think Matthew Timmons, the actor of Woody, is hot now.
Oh, yeah, I think he is.
Imagine how funny it'd be if the show didn't get renewed for a third season and it just abruptly ended after breakup in Paris. Tragically, no such a mercy killing occurred. Sweet Life on Deck was greenlit for 22 more episodes in a final third season, which aired from July 2nd, 2010 to May 6th, 2011. Along with this order came a Disney Channel original film, The Sweet Life movie, which feels like a long time coming given how massively successful Sweet Life was and how long it's gone on compared to its contemporaries. Unfortunately, this movie is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and I can't wait to tell you about it! Dylan, Cole, Brenda, Phil, and Debbie all renewed their contracts once again, with Phil still taking frequent absences, often due to directing. Debbie takes 4 episodes off early in the season, which I have to assume corresponded to her filming the Disney Channel original movie 16 Wishes. This was explained in story as Bailey returning to her hometown of Kettle Corn, Kansas for 4 episodes. Although they aired out of order, and there are some episodes where Bailey continues to be gone even after returning from Kettle Corn. And Doc Shaw would go on to leave the series very early in the season after he was given a starring role in the Disney XD sitcom Pair of Kings. And Matthew Timmons... Oh, Matthew Timmons. When I began gearing up for On Deck after the original series, a lot of people commented saying they could not believe that they robbed Woody of main cast status. And at first I didn't really get it as I was watching the first 2 seasons, like he has a pretty standard number of appearances for a side character, it's still comparable to Esteban and Arwen. But when season 3 rolled around, I finally understood. Woody is in 20 out of 22 episodes. He is in more episodes this season than Debbie Ryan and Phil Lewis. And yet, completely robbed of theme song representation, even after Doc Shaw leaves. Even though I find him painfully unfunny and unbearably annoying, it still feels like he was robbed. Hashtag justice for Woody. Remember hashtags? Those don't exist anymore.
We visited Japan this season. I joined a monastery. It's a beautiful season. I never bust up. I make people bust up.
No, you bust up. You laugh at your own jokes. That's the fun.
Because I'm a hilarious person.
Come along with me. Let's head out to see what this world has for you and for me now. Whichever way the wind blows, we say, hey ho, let's go. This boat's rocking. Ain't no stopping.
Imagine showing that theme song to someone in 2005.
Next Friday, it's the season premiere of Sweet Life. After the big split, he's gone. Cody has jumped ship.
Welcome, brother Cody.
And turned to a higher power.
What are you guys doing here? We've come to rescue you.
And Bailey
Move on, sister!
gets some girl power.
Let's start cutting.
Big girl scissors!
Be here for the season premiere of Sweet Life on Deck. Next Friday at 8/7 Central. Disney Channel.
The third season opens 10 hours after the breakup with the silent treatment, in which the SS Tipton is migrated from France to Monte Carlo.
My name is Norville Carter, and I am from France, but I have spent a total of 12 summers in Monte Carlo. In terms of the previous episode being set in Paris, that is extremely accurate, as Paris and Monte Carlo are so close together.
But thinking about the precise timeline now, I'd like to express some skepticism that they sailed all the way around Europe in 10 hours.
We only broke up 10 hours ago.
Yes, Monte Carlo, it's very boat-friendly. Boats and helicopters are very common in Monaco.
Zack and Woody discover that a heartbroken Cody has fled the SS Tipton and joined the Brotherhood of the Hooded Brothers, a low-key cult dedicated to solitude led by Andy Richter. Imagine if they got Conan for this.
I have sworn off girls forever and gone to live out the rest of my days in a non-religious sanctuary.
Zack wants to rescue Cody for no reason other than he needs him to do his math homework.
Cody being gone will affect the grade curve, which could bump me up from hopeless to needs improvement.
Think back to Cody Goes to Camp from the first season of the original series. Zack sincerely misses his brother and he's afraid of being independent. His desire to rescue Cody is sweet, it's heartfelt. Now jump forward 6 years.
Chosen to give up all of my earthly possessions. Dibs on his laptop! I get a front radio!
These are flanderized shells of who they used to be. To call them one-dimensional characters would be generous, both to the idea that one is too large of a quantity, and characters feels like a stretch at this point.
Monte Carlo, it's very small. You can walk around the whole city in one day, and I feel like a castle in the middle of nowhere would be slightly out of place.
In reality, this is a tidal island called Mont Saint-Michel, located in Normandy, France. Norville added in a later email that there is a tourist destination called the Prince's Palace of Monaco, but it still does not resemble the castle seen in the episode. Cody's annoying as ever. There's antics, none of them go anywhere.
I could have used a bald cap? Dang it!
There are almost no plot points in this entire episode. It's fascinating. Zack convinces Cody that he's missing out on traveling and exploring the world and growing up by staying here, but not without mentioning how hot Bailey is.
Seriously, this girl is smoking.
I guess this harkens back to the early episodes when Zack and Bailey were posed as a potential romantic pairing. But it's weird to think that Zack's apparently found his brother's girlfriend attractive this entire time. But props to him for not acting on it this go-round, I guess. So with Cody convinced to return home, we learn that you can only enter the Brotherhood at low tide, after which you'll be trapped inside by water pressure for a full week. When discussing the first episode of this series, I commented on the lack of stakes in almost any episode of the show. Things just happen. Events simply transpire, because why not? This, to me, is a perfect example of a missed opportunity. Let's say the boat's about to leave Monaco, so if Zack can't convince Cody to leave before high tide, they'll be trapped here. That's an automatic ticking clock that would give this episode anything resembling a pulse.
Good thing I used a bald cap and didn't actually shave my head.
Dang it!
A recurring pattern you'll notice is the few engaging episodes left in this series have basic narrative tension. Maybe someone's gonna get kicked off the boat by the end of the episode, or maybe some characters are trapped in a submarine with limited air supply. Episodes like that are such rare exceptions that it almost feels like a fluke or an accident when they do happen. These writers who've been at this for 6 years are fried. You can tell they're done being invested. And they're just coasting through this. Because its audience is like 10 years old and they'll watch anything in front of them. Did any 10-year-olds watching this episode have the same critiques I do now? No, absolutely not, nor did I as a 10-year-old. These weren't meant to hold up to an adult viewing experience, so why should they? The creative team certainly wasn't obligated to do any more than they're doing, but it makes me extra appreciative of those series that did put in the extra mile to make something more worthwhile, despite a demographic that wouldn't appreciate it.
I was watching it, waiting for something fun to happen at the end. I felt like it was going in a direction where it was gonna get really crazy, but nothing happened. I was more shocked when it ended.
Our B story focuses on Bailey, mourning in her own unique way with the most dramatic top of all time. Why'd she just have this? This is the first time the wardrobe department cooked in like 3 years since they stopped putting actual sauce into London's hair and outfits.
If we're gonna help you get through this, we need to talk to an expert on failed relationships. Hi, Miss Tutwiler!
Since Miss Tutwiler is a pathetic loner, she decides to console her student about her breakup.
Me and Cody were perfect for each other.
When was that ever true? He said that she was too ugly to participate in a beauty contest. She never supported anything he wanted to do. They fought publicly like every 5 episodes, Miss Tutwiler. My tripod fell down, so my camera's gonna be positioned slightly differently for the entire rest of the video. Tutwiler brings Bailey back to her suite to learn her post-breakup routine. Look, there's cats, there's a bingus! And this is why we see Bailey sobbing on the sky deck instead of her dorm, because that set is being used as Miss Tutwiler's cabin in this episode.
What'd you call me?
The show's so out of ideas.
Well, I do declare, nothing would make me happier, sugar.
Remember when Bailey used to actually sound like that? That was her actual accent in the first few episodes of the show until it just disappeared. But now she puts on that accent for show while role-playing a relationship with a cat. In another instance of writers accidentally retreading beats and jokes, they reference sardine sorbet.
Sardine sorbet?
With no acknowledgement of when it was a plot point of emotional significance to Bailey. I think one of the writers was just amused by the existence of such a meal, such a delicacy, that they kept referencing it and forgot they already had.
Smoothie never lets me use big girl scissors. No, break.
I also find it kind of strange that London would not go to Monte Carlo, as it's the richest country in the world.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, she could have done a shopping trip, or visited the Grand Prix, or a yacht party, or even Mr. Mosby is not in this episode. He would have loved the every yacht.
At one point, Zach calls Bailey on Cody's phone, and Bailey thinks she's talking to Cody, leading to an awkward misunderstanding.
Well, then, I guess you realize what a terrible mistake you made.
Hey, remember how Zach and Cody are twins? That hasn't been relevant to anything since Shipnotized in season 1. That was like a core part of the starting premise. You might think like, well, they don't look that alike anymore. Yeah, but they're also not 12 anymore, and that hasn't stopped the writers from pretending they are. Think about an episode where Zach decides to prank Cody to sabotage his relationship with Bailey or something by prank calling her and pretending to be Cody, leading Bailey to be mad at him about interactions that didn't happen and making him feel completely gaslit by society. Like, sure, that would be evil of Zach, but is that out of character? No, you could have made that shit like a running gag where Bailey constantly has no clue who's calling her, but no such thing occurred. Oh. At the end, London randomly has a super competent moment.
Look, Bailey. I know you loved Cody, but you don't need a boyfriend to be happy. You're young, you're smart, you're pretty. You're not some 50-something cat lady who's been dumped time and time and time again and then is one ice cream scoop away from a heart attack. No.
Then they abandon poor Miss Tutwiler, who's all alone yet again. What a loser.
I feel like everything geographically about Monte Carlo was perfect. The imagery and the boats and the rocks, and the fact that this episode is right after Paris is perfect, but I just felt really upset watching this episode of what could have been. There are so many amazing things that I guess could have happened, and we'll never get to see it.
Attention passengers, we now return to the Sweet Life on Deck.
Season 3, Episode 2 continues to draw out the viscerally tedious Cody and Bailey breakup storyline. Today's episode depicting a fierce custody battle over their class science project.
We're arguing over who should get to keep our lab rat.
Kirby arrives on the scene to play a role of a CPS worker, taking Buck under his protection as he evaluates both of their living conditions to decide who the rat will get to stay with. Woody accidentally eats rat poop when trying to eat Buck's food pellets because that's where we're at with his character.
Those aren't food pellets.
Buck bites his finger, and after he interrupts Zach's date with his love interest of the day, Sloane, to show him, Zach gaslights him into thinking he might be mutating into a rat, and he should go into hiding to avoid the government capturing him.
Why don't you go bother Cody? No way, he might have that evil lab rat with him.
Lab rat, huh? By the way, in June, at a store in Burbank, I ran into Matthias Ward, who played Marcus from Lab Rats. Literally, of all the actors in that entire show, he's the one I would have most wanted to meet. It was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Kirby makes a house call to both Cody and Bailey's suites, where the two of them relentlessly argue back and forth.
Obviously, you're gonna pick me.
No, he's going to pick me.
No girl has ever beaten me.
Oh, give it a minute.
Think about how drastically Bailey's changed from the beginning of this series. She was this naive farm girl who didn't have a single mean bone in her body. Then over the course of 2 weeks, she lost her accent entirely. And after a few months, started to get a little bit meaner each episode.
Yodelay, he.
Cody, London, and Zach, in that order, have ruined Bailey Pickett. They have corrupted this woman from the inside out, and we will never forgive them. During this story, Cody and Bailey vent their many problems with each other. And what cracks me up is that all of Bailey's complaints are actual character flaws baked into Cody, but all of Cody's complaints are literally just made up.
I mean, he's controlling, obsessive, pompous.
I mean, she's impulsive, irresponsible, reckless.
In what episodes do the words impulsive, irresponsible, or reckless describe Bailey Pickett? I genuinely can't get over the way the writers don't seem to have a personality for Bailey pegged down whatsoever. Here's what Cody could list as her flaws, which have contributed to every argument they've had. She has poor communication skills. She's completely unwilling to apologize when she's wrong. Those aren't traits exclusive to her, but they're issues. But those aren't what he mentions. Cody just makes up flaws because he's delusional. Kirby's also very funny in this episode. Wendell Middlebrooks continues to have a genuinely outstanding comedic timing here.
When bad stuff goes down, my 30 minutes of cruise ship security guard training kicks in.
Wasn't that like an online course?
Yeah. I had to come up with a username and a password. That was intense. You think I wanted this gig? If I could fit in a toll booth, I'd have my dream job.
Woody, meanwhile, becomes fully convinced he's turning into a rat and adopts the superhero alter ego, Rat Man, a superhero determined to do good, but with no discernible skills.
Woody, you can barely fit through that door when it's open.
Midway through the episode, Bailey and Cody's parenting cause a problem when Buck opens his cage, something Cody taught him to do, and runs free to roam the ship, something Bailey taught him to do. Now the hunt is on to find him at all costs. London's story role today is desperately wanting Buck to die.
Missing pet rat. Reward $5. This should do it. Wanted, dead rat. Reward $500. This should do it.
I hate rats. Goodbye, rats. Goodbye.
London, those traps could kill Buck.
Oh, if we're lucky.
Suddenly, Buck spotted up on the sky deck, but only a rat could climb up there.
But only a rat could climb up there.
Why would she randomly say that? That's not even true. Rat Man is here to save the day, and a truly phenomenal display of acrobatics. Haters will claim this is a stunt double. It's not. Ratman is able to save the day and rescue Buck. Tragically, Woody is nowhere in sight to see this incredible scene. Kirby decides to let Buck decide who he stays with, but it turns out he chooses Kirby because his parents have been fighting all day and it's scaring him. Cody and Bailey decide to let Kirby keep Buck, and they agree to stop fighting, an agreement which simply will not last. Sloane decides she's far more attracted to Ratman and leaves Zach for him, which is approximately the 4th time the show has done this punchline. After this episode, we actually never see Buck again. In my opinion, they ate him. After this episode, we actually never see Kirby again. In my opinion, they ate him.
Get on board. Now back to The Sweet Life on Deck here on Disney XD.
Season 3, Episode 3. So you think you can date? Question mark. With an upcoming school dance, Cody and Bailey lie to each other and claim to already have a date. They're then forced to scrounge one together in real time, but tragically their every effort fails due to the fact that they're losers and they're both fundamentally unlovable.
You'll see that I'm a great conversationalist in over 6 languages, including the cohesive clicking language of Namibia.
I was just sitting over there writing my paper on comparative feminist literature and wondering, what is it about our patriarchal society that perpetuates the ridiculous belief that the male has to make the first move?
There's an incredibly strange moment where it cuts between 2 scenes without a transition, and it feels like a jump scare. It feels like the episode was naked. Zach advises Cody to play the role of a bad boy, and London advises Bailey to act dumb. Miniature versions of them appear on the other's shoulders for 1 scene only and is barely acknowledged as anything unusual from the show's usual proceedings. Everything is so strange now, man. It's just a completely different show. Against their better judgments, Cody and Bailey both take their advisor's advice and manage to score dates through said method. Meanwhile, Mosby and Tutwiler butt heads because of a double booking on the Sky Deck. Despite Mosby being the manager and surely responsible for the double booking, he tells Emma to cancel her 80s themed prom so he can hold a Renaissance fair. It's also here we learn that Kettle Corn, Kansas only got the 80s last year, which is probably the only funny kettle corn joke in the show. Woody has to manage these grown adults' conflict as they both set up their conflicting parties. Mosby and Tutwiler both say hurtful, and it was clearly supposed to be delivered the way Woody always says it because that's the entire running gag, but apparently Phil Lewis and Aaron Cardillo didn't get the memo.
Hurtful?
We learn that Mosby and Tutwiler are both motivated here by a mutual childhood trauma of being unlovable nerds. It's so stupid. They put old age makeup on her to make her a teenager.
What do you mean you're not taking me to the dance? But you promised! And I told everybody I had a date! You're the worst cousin ever!
I feel so bad for both of them because I literally feel like they deserved a better career trajectory than season 3 of The Sweet Life on Deck. At the dance, a 50-50 theme is split down the middle. Cody and Bailey both alienate their dates by being too much of a bad boy / too dumb. Their dates run off together.
I'm Bailey. I'm Sissy. Nice to meet you.
Cat fight.
I hate Cody. Why is this teenager school dance on the Sky Deck? Do they have security bouncers outside this room's countless entrances to keep adults out? Because I don't see any. As the slow music starts playing, Cody and Bailey awkwardly dance in place next to each other. But who gives a shit about them? My real OTP, Mosby and Tutwiler, come together to apologize and dance together as well. I thought this moment occurred way later in the series, but I specifically remember calling my sister into the room to watch this ending because I was so happy Mr. Mosby found someone. And it was probably really confusing to watch them crossfade into hideous versions of themselves without any context. Kayla didn't care whatsoever and she left the room. But us Moswiler truthers will never be silenced. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention that in all seriousness, I do not care about them as a couple whatsoever. They have no chemistry, and I think they both deserve to be executed.
Close your eyes, make a wish, and watch a sneak peek dream come true.
No way. Wait.
Right now, when you go to DisneyChannel.com, you can check out an extended sneak peek of the world premiere movie 16 Wishes, starring Debbie Ryan from Sweet Life on Deck.
This is the most wonderful, amazing, magical thing that's ever happened to me.
That's right, before the movie world premiere, see the special extended sneak peek of 16 Wishes.
Gosh, this is fun!
It's on at DisneyChannel.com.
The episode My Oh Maya suddenly marks the beginning of a turning point in Zach's character, as he finds himself head over heels for the new waitress Maya, who actually says no to a date with him because she's heard he's basically dated everyone on the ship. Zach is flabbergasted, guffawed even. He's somehow never received this response in his whole career. So what is he to do? He is a player, but that's never been a detrimental trait before. When Zach takes a girl named Gina to dinner, a complete airheaded blonde of his usual caliber,
Can we get married on the sun? We can do it at night, so it won't be too hot.
he finds himself dissatisfied with her affection and is only capable of thinking about Maya. Zach realizes something's different and comes to the conclusion that he's meaningfully in love.
You always say girls are like socks. They're basically all the same, so if you lose one in the laundry room, you can just steal someone else's. I know, there's just something different about this sock. It's just so soft and smells so nice. And I just want to hug it and kiss it. Are we still talking about a sock?
Zach's next strategy is to make Maya jealous by having London pose as his ex-girlfriend and praise him. I don't have the slightest clue why London would go along with this, and neither does the episode. Maya, unfortunately, Freudian slips up.
That's so weird, because the other day when I asked you about him, you said, and I quote, "Ugh!"
You asked about me.
Maya confesses that she did find him cute at first, and Zach sees an opportunity.
Did you just call my man cute?
London.
Are you trying to move in on him?
London.
Honey, hold my earrings. I'm about to throw down.
What does she even have to gain by pretending to be this stupid? That doesn't make sense. They've ruined her character. She felt like a normal person at the beginning of the show. Cody having mentioned his 6-month plan to win Bailey earlier in the episode, Zach sneaks into his dorm to steal it. Zach suspects that the safe code is probably Carrie's birthday, and this made me so excited. He calls her. We haven't heard from or about her in a very long time.
Hey, Mom! Yeah, I miss you too. Hey, quick question. When's your birthday again? Oh. Well, then happy birthday. By the way, whatever Cody sent you is from the two of us. Yeah, can't talk now. Goodbye.
Zach winds up throwing together a kettle corn mulch festival as a funny throwback to season 1's Mulch Ado About Nothing. Zach's a dumbass. He shoves Maya's head into a corncob bobbing bin and she storms off, and bro has not the slightest idea what went wrong. Cody has to sit down and explain to him like a baby that the plan was created specifically for Bailey and that every woman is different. Cody advises Zach that the best relationships are built on friendship first, and so Zach suggests to Maya that they should simply be friends. This is a fantastic lesson to instill in little boys. You should become friends with girls with an ulterior motive of revealing romantic feelings for them later. Do not just authentically be friends with them. No. I do find it really funny that this episode and the show in general are posing Cody's long-term 6-month written plan to make Bailey fall in love with him as a positive and productive behavior. Like when I was in middle school and high school, I literally did think of my romantic pursuits as months-long multi-step objective. Meanwhile, the kids actually dating were the ones just asking girls out up front. Shit like this. The Sweet Life on Deck literally led to behaviors that I had to actively unlearn. This is just the drivel we were forced to consume from every show as a kid. And then, I'm gonna make this tangent for the 90th time. Gravity Falls comes along, and the episode Double Dipper from that series is about Dipper throwing away his meticulous plan and learning his best to live in the moment and be upfront and sincere. And that's the historical context for why this show felt so refreshing and compelling to Disney kids back then, because its life lessons were actually realistic and good things to instill into the wet blocks of clay that are impressionable 8-year-olds. In the B story, Dante from season 2's finale is snuck on board the SS Tipton to convince Marcus to help him produce his first album, and Marcus's only time leading a storyline solo.
Why would I want to produce you? I'm already sorry your parents produced you.
Marcus helps hide Dante from Mr. Mosby, who's determined to find the stowaway. Mosby being a fan of Lil is relevant for the first time, basically since Marcus's introduction. He accidentally blinds himself with a defective pin that leads to some sight gags as Dante steals food from a buffet table right in Mosby's blind spot.
That's not your fault. You didn't make the pen, you just endorsed it. Without actually checking the product.
This being the first time this space has hosted a buffet table since Let Us Entertain You, the backdoor pilot in season 3 of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. We get explicit confirmation again that Miss Peppermint is still aboard the ship, despite not seeing her since season 1's Wrong Stuff. Marcus and London pose as Dante's parents to sneak him off the ship. London once again becomes fully convinced that Marcus is her actual husband and Dante is her actual child, because that's where the show's at this point. Dante appeals to Mosby to let him stay on board and begs him to call his parents. Mosby agrees. Then Dante hands the phone to Marcus. And there just isn't a resolution at all. Like, it genuinely feels like it's missing a scene. We never see Dante again, so I guess it doesn't pan out. Alright, very cool.
They ate him.
Now we're back to Sweet Life on Deck on Disney Channel's Friday night.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. You will never guess what thrilling events transpire in the 5th episode of the 3rd season of the Disney Channel original televised program The Sweet Life on Deck, created by Jim Gogan and Danny Callis, entitled Das Boots, written by Pamela Eels O'Connell. I cannot wait to transcribe them for your entertainment, whilst providing laughs and commentary along the way. Let's dive in. Zach continues to struggle to bury his overwhelming feelings for Maya, as London enlists him and Woody to enter her shoe submarine, first mentioned in season 1's Maddie on Deck, to swap her summer shoes for her winter shoes. First off, the episode's title, Das Boots, is an homage to Das Boot, a 1981 German World War II submarine film. And that's a really brilliant pun title. I can't lie, I kinda like this episode. So Zach tries to flirt with Maya, but she shoots him down.
You know, Maya, these would go great with your legs.
I don't think that's the kind of thing you say to someone who's just your friend.
Sure it is. Hey, Woody, these would go great with your legs.
Zach accidentally hits the singular analog button that submerges the unrelated far lower resolution submarine stock footage. Suddenly, a billionaire is trapped underwater with a limited air supply. Life imitates art. Everyone throws around an electric eel instead of dropping it on the ground. At this point, I'll just list various facts about Woody from this episode. He's stuck a turkey leg on an electric motor because he's too lazy to turn it with his fingers. He won't stop flatulating with the limited air supply because of said turkey leg. He used to be a leash kid. And he's been wearing the same shoes for 1 year and 3 months because his foot flesh has grown through the eyelets. As the lore expert, I might as well point out, no, he hasn't. This episode is literally just 10 episodes of no progress to their dilemma. In the B story, Cody prepares for a chess championship against Russian prodigy Sasha. who's strangely credited as Misha. He's shocked by the fact that she's a beautiful woman, and it throws him off his game because he hadn't considered he could be playing against anyone other than a man. Sasha claims to know absolutely everything about him, which opens a huge can of continuity worms. She claims he was born in 1993, but in the original series episode Poor Little Rich Girl, the boys watch a home video of their infanthood dating back to September 23rd, 1992. Cody doesn't seem to recognize that she's wrong about his birth date. She mentions Blanky, who Cody clung to through much of the first season of the original series. But then Cody clings to a scrap of the blanket, and it's just a straight up different blanket. There's a red swirl pattern that demonstrably wasn't on the original. This revisionist history Blanky scrap goes on to appear in several future On Deck episodes. That can of continuity worms had 2 continuity worms. Other running gags include Mosby and Tutwiler hosting the play-by-play commentary, as Mr. Mosby abuses her.
No one cares.
Marcus also thinks chess is lame. It's so funny. Down in the sub, in the final moments of survivability, Maya confesses to Zach that she thinks he's attractive. This gives him a renewed will to live, and he's able to use components from Woody's turkey rotator to tap into a radio frequency of the chess broadcast and demand help.
Search for something marked surface control.
It's all in Russian. Check. I did check. It's in Russian.
Cody doesn't feel even remotely urgent about the impending suffocation of his twin brother, roommate, and lifelong friend. That was referring to 3 different people, though I suppose that description could also solely describe Zach. Mosby's able to pull up the submarine schematics online and suggest they jettison all surplus weight to float the submarine to the surface.
Hurtful?
Marcus, who's never played chess before, fills in for Cody while he sorts out the sub situation.
You've exposed your bishop.
I have? Oh, that's so embarrassing.
London's 2.5 tons of shoes are loaded into the torpedo pods despite her screams and cries in protest, and the torpedoes apparently fire upwards and incapacitate Sasha. This allows Marcus to win, thus awarding him the world champion status and depriving Cody.
I really don't deserve this.
I'll see.
We did see low-resolution stock footage of a submerging submarine during the day with an iMovie day-to-night filter applied to it. Maya blames her confession on a lack of oxygen, so she and Zach continue to circle around each other romantically. This is infinitely better than Cody and Bailey's dynamic during the first season, because at least the show understands their dynamic and at least they have chemistry. Thank you, friends, for listening to my laughs and commentary regarding the thrilling events that transpired in the 5th episode of the 3rd season of the Disney Channel original televised program, The Sweet Life on Deck, created by Jim Gogan and Danny Callis, entitled Das Boots, and written by Pamela Eels O'Connell.
The accident.
Oh no! I see a crack!
I'm probably gonna have to fix that.
The announcement.
You kids, my underwater lounge is underwater!
So that's good, right?
Whoever is responsible will be expelled immediately and kicked off of this ship.
The end for a student. Someone is leaving the SS Tipton for good. Sweet Life on Deck, Friday, August 20th at 8/7 Central, Disney Channel.
It's on!
Season 3, Episode 6, Bon Voyage, is Doc Shaw's final appearance in The Sweet Life on Deck. In it, Marcus becomes determined to stage a dental-themed hip-opera, which Zach volunteers to film. Now, I'm basically going to spend a minute saying a bunch of completely unrelated sentences, because that's really just how this episode operates. Bailey returns from Kettlecorn, where she spent the last couple episodes' absences. Nostalgic for farming, she decides to fill her and London's dorm with a giant plant trough. Cody vies for a position as a sushi chef in the SS Tipton's new Aqua Lounge. In the last video, I expressed gripes about how limited the sets on the ship are, with most of the show basically taking place on the sky deck due to it being the only hangout area. It seems that this concern was recognized by the series creative team, who introduced this brand new Aqua Lounge space, which will be a staple of the series for its duration. This purely underwater luxury club is being constructed while the ship's in motion in the middle of the ocean. Frankie here is the only construction worker, it seems. Cody and Woody sneak into the under construction lounge to practice cooking sushi, and Woody accidentally eats a squid's poison sac. Cody randomly develops an elderly Asian man's hands. Mosby, who's supposed to be a posh and well-educated intellectual, mistakes a dolphin for a shark. Now everything ties together when the glass cracks and a giant stream of water blasts into the lounge. Now, Mr. Mosby is the angriest he's ever been in the entire franchise.
Mr. Tipton is furious, and so am I. Whoever has done this, whoever is responsible, will be expelled immediately and kicked off of this ship.
I do vaguely remember this episode from childhood, and I was always really confused that the ship filling with water wasn't a larger concern to the passengers on board.
I'm probably gonna have to fix that.
The issue with the Aqua Lounge being full of water isn't the risk of the ship capsizing, it's about the construction setback. While Mosby immediately blames Zach, everyone becomes concerned that their frivolous storylines throughout the episode's first half may have caused the issue. Bailey thinks deep-planted roots may have grown through the floor and pushed out the screws from the wall. London knows she didn't do it, but she wants to take the blame, so she'll be kicked off the boat. Cody thinks he may have accidentally thrown a knife at the window, which I feel like he would have noticed. And Woody thinks his bowel movements from the poison sac ruptured the entire boat's structural integrity. Recounting a similar instance on Thanksgiving where he was on the toilet and he blew his grandmother's septic tank all the way into Canadian airspace where fighter jets were promptly scrambled to shoot it down. All 4 kids rushed to confess their guilt to Mosby.
Mr. Mosby, I need to tell you that what happened to the Aqua Lounge was all my fault. My corn snips grew into the bulkheads.
Excuse me?
Mr. Mosby, the Aqua Lounge was all my fault. My Sujihiki hit the window.
Excuse me?
Mr. Mosby, the Aqua Lounge was all my fault. My powerful bowels have struck again.
Excuse me?
No, excuse me.
Marcus is able to provide an alibi for Zach by proving he's been filming his hip opera the entire day. And Frankie arrives to reveal that Mosby's pocket hanky clogged the air vent, and that caused the pressure buildup that broke the window. He threw it when he was scared by the dolphin, and I'll give him credit, he did actually throw it in that scene. I would not put it past this show to have that just not happen at all. I feel like this is a really bad design if just dropping a pocket hanky on the floor can cause the entire room to flood. It's like when the Death Star has a hole in it. Like, I don't care how many prequels you make justifying it, it's still a giant hole in the Death Star. Mr. Tipton demands a fall guy, and Mr. Mosby refuses to fall on the sword, so London calls him to take the blame, and he responds by cutting her allowance by $50,000 a week. But Marcus calls to report that his agent loved the hip opera, and he'll be leaving the boat to stage it on Broadway. His career restored, he thanks the cast for supporting him during this brief detour in his life, and they throw him a going-away party in the completed Aqua Lounge. How they repaired this and deflooded the room while the ship seemingly hasn't docked anywhere, and is still fully occupied, is beyond me.
And if you guys are ever in New York, please, just look me up.
You know what? We might just do that someday.
Someday? How about now? Take me with you! Okay. Next up, Tiffany!
I guess that's the full payoff to his crush on her. In reality, Doc Shaw was departing the series to star alongside Mitchell Musso in Pair of Kings on Disney XD. But there is no real time to prepare or ease into his departure, so his abrupt disappearance feels as random as his introduction to the series in the first place did. Marcus is strange because he was barely allowed to do anything, and honestly didn't leave that large of an impact on the series or the franchise. In his own going away episode, Marcus had the least to do out of all the cast members. There's no follow-up on Dante joining the boat or offering to partner with Marcus. Marcus was even absent from the first 3 episodes of the season. In this 27-episode stretch between Marcus's introduction and exit, Woody was only absent 6 more times than him, but almost indisputably did more in those episodes. From here, Marcus is never mentioned again that I can recall. The series forgets about him as quickly as the world forgot about Lil Lil. From here, he's nonchalantly removed from the series theme song, and even still, Woody doesn't receive a promotion to the main cast.
Come along with me. Let's head out to see what this world has for you and for me now. Whichever way the wind blows, we say, hey ho, let's go. This boat's rocking. Ain't no stopping us now. 'Cause we're living this sweet life. This boat's rocking. Rocking the whole world round. And we're living this sweet life now. Hey ho! Let's go!
Season 3, Episode 8 sees the long-awaited return of the Tipton Hotel's beloved engineer, Arwen Hockhauser, who's seemingly now inventing directly for Mr. Tipton, today unveiling his new giant rubber ball ejection device.
Eject you anywhere! You know, for tax evasion purposes.
I do vividly remember Arwen coming back a second time, and I remember him crash landing in this giant rubber ball, but for some reason I thought for sure this happened back in his first appearance from Season 1's It's All Greek to Me. After he's fished out of the ocean from his crash landing, London immediately comes to hug him, because the show's forgotten that she's repulsed by him and moderately scared of him. Arwen's been instructed to upgrade the SS Tipton into a futuristic smart ship,
an idea clearly holding over from the cancelled Arwen series. Cody, who's still reeling from his breakup with Bailey, assists Arwen in getting the Cali artificial intelligence system operational.
It was the same thing with your mom. But eventually I saw that there was no hope for us, and I moved on.
You did?
No, I still love your mommy!
Cali increases the ship's operating efficiency in a terrifying Orwellian manner that I hope the ship's passengers signed waivers to approve.
You know who I am?
Of course. Arwen programmed me to recognize all passengers on board in order to serve them more efficiently.
When Cody praises her as a remarkable piece of machinery, she immediately falls in love with him and adapts a physical form to pursue a relationship. She cooks him eggs and bacon after studying his dietary preferences, and I'd just like to point out that he raised his pet rat as a vegan 5 episodes ago, while he himself is evidently not one, nor even a vegetarian. The rest of the episode is Cody getting an AI girlfriend, 13 years ahead of the incel curve, and everyone telling him that this is a bad idea. Cali threatens and intimidates everybody who stands in her way. She begins dedicating all of her operating power to her love for Cody, leaving the rest of the cruise ship in the dust. Mr. Mosby orders Cali deactivated, leading to some really classic feeling interactions with Arwen.
Get in the hole!
We'll just be in the hall if anybody needs.
All right! I am getting reports of malfunctions all over the ship!
You know, you have got a chip on your shoulder. You have a chip on your shoulder.
It's kind of strange how Arwen was largely irrelevant to and absent from this episode, which was his grand return to the series after many years. When Cali deactivates the ship entirely, Cody comes to accept what everyone's been saying all along.
And she crazy.
He tricks her into a false sense of security by saying they'll be together forever, then shuts her down. She's tossed into a box of packing peanuts and shipped away forever, never to be seen again. Cody doesn't learn anything, he just laments the loss of a great girlfriend. In the B story, London and Woody rush to Zach to help them pass gym class. They need his expertise, and this is an amazing indicator of how long the show has been running and lost track of itself, because in this Sweet Life Zach and Cody episode, Dad's Back, Maddie needed London's help passing gym, with London being an expert student due to her experience lifting heavy purses full of money. Here, London's uncharacteristically weak. The ship's lobby is repurposed as the gym today because a dedicated gym set was not in the budget. Cali's chaos causes corresponding malfunctions to the machinery surrounding them. Dodging attacks from Cali gets the duo to pass gym class in the end. I'm proud of them. I knew they could do it. Woody eats a purse. As the story concludes, Arwen reminisces on failed hotel inventions we never got to see.
Oh no, at least it wasn't as bad as the time your automated laundry machines at the hotel sucked me into the dryers.
Aw, that's how you got so small.
Then he's sucked up into the air by a giant magnet that attaches to the Tipton 1 flying overhead. The Tipton 1 being an aerial vehicle that apparently does exist. Unfortunately, it goes awry, and Arwen's plunged into the ocean because characters going overboard is this show's only joke.
Disney Channel's giving you a special VIP pass as we go behind the scenes of the Sweet Life on Deck Party On.
What?
With a very special musical guest.
What's up? It's Sean Kingston, and you can check me out on Sweet Life on Deck.
Sean Kingston's here.
We're gonna party! I'll tell you what makes this episode big. Sean Kingston. He's great!
In this episode, Sean steps off the stage and onto the SS Tipton, where a special girl catches his eye.
Look! It's Sean Kingston!
You're London Tipton!
That's what it says on this necklace in case I get lost.
Zach tricks Sean Kingston into throwing a party for London. You know what I really think she'd enjoy? A surprise party.
It's a birthday?
No. But that's a surprise!
It's a surprise, but there's kind of confusion on who the surprise is for.
Surprise! Surprise! Woo! Sean Kingston is going to sing a song for me!
He came in and he learned his lines really fast.
You forgot to have him write anything on it, so I had to put congratulations, London.
You got what?
I mean, great! Look out for me. Denzel Washington, I'm coming.
Working with Sean is awesome. He's laid back and he's got a great sense of humor.
Sean is like the sweetest guy, and he has like the most infectious laugh.
All might be fair in love and war, but on this boat, things get a little complicated at sea.
The party scene was fun. It reminded me like a music video that I do, singing to London and everybody dancing, having a great time.
Party On, with an all-new
Sweet Life on Deck.
Friday at 8/7 Central, part of VIP Night of Premieres.
On Disney Channel.
In Party On, the SS Tipton docks in Belgium.
Hi, I'm Leen, and I'm from Belgium.
While dating, Cody and Bailey apparently booked tickets to attend a couple's chocolate-making tour. Now the day of reckoning has arrived, and the two make up a grudging pact to attend as friends.
Hey, Cody. I'm ready for a tour of the chocolate factory.
Oh, Bailey. Your psyche must have suppressed that painful memory, but you and I are kinda donezo.
I love how she showed up on the day of with no prior communication whatsoever and just a full expectation that they're still going despite their separation.
If you're not mature enough to go as friends, I'll just take the tickets.
Mature? Please. If anyone's the mature one, it's me.
Hey, Cody, your blankie fell on the floor. You want to put him back on his pillow?
Yeah, so obviously we're famous for chocolate, and we do have chocolate factories in Belgium. We even have the largest one in the world from Callebaut. So I guess that's pretty accurate from Zach and Cody.
Here's the factory. Unfortunately, it's run by this terrifying Willy Wonka man.
Bonjour! Very cliche that he said bonjour. What's his... Sebastian Nugget? Is that the guy's name?
I am Sebastian Nuga!
Sebastian Nuga. Oh, okay. That's not really Belgian. It's not French sounding, it's not Dutch sounding. It would be Sébastien in French, Sebastian in Dutch. And Nuga is just, yeah, Nuga.
Welcome to my kingdom of cacao! Look, I'm loco for cocoa!
What is his accent? It's weird because he said bonjour at the beginning, but then he sounds kind of like Danish German. And German is sort of right. There's a part in Belgium that's German speaking, but it's pretty small. I don't have much of an accent, but people in Belgium certainly do have accents. So Flemish people would probably talk a little bit more like this when they talk in English. And then French people, well, French-speaking people have more of a French kind of English accent. And then, yeah, you have German-speaking people who then have this German accent, but that guy was a bit much.
Gently dance it on your beloved's tongue.
Woody has taken an oath to eat healthy. Unfortunately, he takes the wrong bus and he's dropped off at a chocolate factory, where he fearfully fights his many temptations.
Okay. I've got my emergency blanket because I'm camping in the woods.
When the men and women are separated to write a special message on their candy heart for their attendee partner, Woody observes that Bailey's heart says, "I love and miss you." Cody, dumbfounded, rewrites his message to also be a declaration of love. Unfortunately,
I made my heart for my dad. That's why it says I love and miss him.
Ooh. What?
Woody!
Cody, you broke my heart.
Well, you broke mine first.
the two now fight because Bailey lacks basic communication abilities and Cody is a narcissist with anger issues. Then, like the show always does when it has no clue how to resolve a character conflict, it simply doesn't, and just does slapstick comedy with Woody instead. Woody learns that it's okay to eat a little chocolate in moderation. Literally the exact same lesson from the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Season 2 episode Health and Fitness, except here it's done inferior in every way and shoehorned in at the very last second. Whereas that was clearly an all-encompassing moral of the previous entry.
Oh, chocolate.
That's just straight out of SpongeBob.
Chocolate! Chocolate!
The B story, for the first time, has absolutely nothing to do with the country the ship is visiting. And that's a trend that'll become more and more prevalent as the season continues. Mr. Mosby throws a staff birthday party on the SS Tipton, and is a pretty classic instance of him being a cheapskate, an aspect of his early characterization that largely fell by the wayside.
And that's why I'd like to thank you all for coming to celebrate the birthday of every employee born between March and June.
1 cupcake for 10 people?
Maya's birthday is tomorrow, and Zack wants to throw her a way better party. So when special guest star Sean Kingston comes aboard the SS Tipton and has a huge crush on London, Zack sees an opportunity.
She's beautiful. I think I'm in love.
Sean Kingston, at this moment in time, was an adult. London Tipton, at this point in time, is a high schooler. Zack convinces Sean that London's birthday is tomorrow and he should throw her a party. All while Zack handles the party planning to cater everything to Maya's interests. Along the way, Zack has to lie to Mosby and claim that this is a celebration of the 17th anniversary of Mosby's graduation from hotel management school. Given that Mosby's currently 39 years old as previously established in model behavior, maybe 40 now, That would mean he graduated from hotel management school when he was 22 or maybe 23 years old. All of Mosby's various former careers, from episodes that are implied to have occurred before he was a hotel manager, then must have all occurred before he was 23. If you ever feel discouraged about where you're at in life, just remember that Mr. Mosby was a professional dancer, cheerleader, miniature golf prodigy, croquet champion, roller derby champion, cycling contemporary to Lance Armstrong, and junior chess championship contender, all before the age of 22. Zach spends the party running back and forth, lying to everyone involved, until he's eventually confronted from all sides.
I had to put congratulations, London. You got what? It's her birthday?
I can't believe you spent so much of your own money to book Sean Kingston.
But in true Zach and Cody fashion, all is forgiven because the girl has never seen a guy go through so much effort just for her.
No guy has ever gone to this much trouble for my birthday before.
Well, then you've been hanging out with the wrong guys.
Okay, so now they're dating. Then everyone at the dance party as famous singer Sean Kingston performs a lil ditty for the masses' enjoyment. This was the greatest fictional work I've ever experienced in my entire life.
What is this?
I feel like embarrassed that I'm making you watch this.
Sure, do that. Okay.
Why?
Sean Kingston would go on to be arrested alongside his mother for fraud and theft charges totaling over $1 million after a raid by the FBI on his Florida mansion.
It felt more like a Willy Wonka reference than a Belgium reference, honestly. I mean, it wasn't like the best representation, but it was still fine. I'm kind of just glad that they didn't start talking about Brussels sprouts or anything.
These twin brothers
You're not the first to doubt that Boomer and I are twins.
I'm so much better looking.
are going from high schoolers
Aladdin?
we are here to bring you home, my kings, to island rulers.
Nobody told us that we were kings of our own island? Yeah! Boom, boom, pow!
This is your castle.
Whoa, we have a hobbit. Greetings. Take us to your shire.
Pair of Kings premieres Wednesday, September 22nd on Disney XD.
Wow. In Love and War, Mr. Mosby is apparently participating in a video game boys' night because every aspect of his original characterization has been abandoned. The boys have a big tournament coming up Friday night and they better bring their A game. Maya has changed her status to in a relationship, a high-stress situation for Zach, who will not only have to change his status, but everything about his personality and behavior. Zach, though, is actually determined to do so and become a good boyfriend to her. He agrees to come watch her poetry slam Friday night. But uh-oh, do you know what else is Friday night? Wow, in my script, I said, you know what else is Friday night? Watcher Entertainment's newest uploads. And then like 3 days later, they blew up because of their streaming debacle. That happened in real time. I forgot I wrote that. Do you know what else is Friday night? The video game tournament. So on the night of these huge events, Sweet Life employs one of the most cliched sitcom premises of all time. Zach slipping back and forth between Maya's poetry read and the boys' digital battle with an undefeated team from Australia. Famous YouTuber Diamondbolt. Is it true that Australia has video games?
No, we don't.
Is it true that Australia is not real? Zach runs back and forth, not fully committing to either festivity. The show spams the same goofy music that it has for 6 seasons now. At a certain point, I just feel bad that Dylan and Cole are still doing this. Eventually, after Zach misses most of her poetry reading, Maya storms into the Aqua Lounge and calls him out on his bullshit! But then the show has this traditional lesson learned moment, and it's stupid.
You wouldn't be you if you didn't want to hang out with the guys.
Like, is the issue not that he lied to you and missed the entire time you were on stage for this thing you practiced hard and were heavily invested in? I love that Zach, trying to be a good boyfriend, is arguably worse to Maya than he is to most girls in this show. On the flip side, Bailey has volunteered to watch kids in the ship's nursery. London accidentally volunteers too, and once again, the show is degraded to a point of being narrative sludge, because you're telling me the richest woman in the world, whose father owns this boat, truly can't get out of this commitment whatsoever.
too late.
In the old show, they'd always justify why London had to be at a place. Like, Daddy says I have to get a job. But after 6 years, things just happen now. It turns out all the kids like London way more than Bailey, who gets jealous and leaves. London then becomes overwhelmed by all of these nasty children, and Bailey comes back to save the day. They probably apologize to each other or something. Good for them. This episode changed my life. It renewed my will to live. Also, it didn't do any of those things. It was ass!
All hands on deck. Get ready to set sail for some Friday night fun. An all-new Sweet Life on Deck is coming up next on Disney Channel.
The Ghost and Mr. Martin is Disney Channel's attempt at a child-friendly paranormal activity movie. The ship's docked in New Orleans, and Mr. Mosby walks a group of tourists through the Aqua Lounge and recounts a piece of local folklore associated with the infamous and fictitious Jessie Belle shipwreck. Legend says that Captain Tennille was in such a rush to get home to propose to his beloved lady Jessie Belle that he misread his compass and crashed into Dead Man's Rock.
Before that point, it was just called Rock.
I love how utterly incorrect the perspective outside the window is, and I love the implication that the ocean floor is this dangerously close to the bottom of the ship. I'm giggling at that. That was real. Zach becomes haunted by bizarre paranormal occurrences, which Woody and Cody refuse to believe in. For the first time in this franchise, the episode references the classic Season 1 Zach and Cody episode, The Ghost of 613.
Remember when we were living at the Tipton? We saw that lady ghost jump out of that portrait. We were hormone-crazed 12-year-old boys. We saw women popping out of everything.
Cody, despite fully experiencing and believing in a Paranormal International Dateline Groundhog Day loop, is utterly skeptical to buy into this. Zach sets up a camera to record a night slept in his dorm, which captures all three boys waking up to possessedly chant, "Innocent." Now fully convinced, the kids take up the mantle of ghost hunters.
Bailey. Don't go. I love Lou.
Fast forward. Meanwhile, our good friend Marion Mosby reveals his passion for playing the piano and his tragic fear of performing publicly due to yet another bizarre piece of his backstory.
An 8-year-old Marion Mosby strode confidently onto the stage. Tragically, as I took my introductory bow, my trousers split, exposing my clowny face underpants. The humiliation was so great that I passed out on stage. And as I fell, I landed on my left knee, which also destroyed my burgeoning ballet career.
Interestingly, this directly contradicts the events of Ghost of 613, in which Mosby claimed the ghost of Irene ensured he would never be able to boogie again. The show accidentally reuses a joke from London's Apprentice because it's been on for a very long time.
I mean, that's weird. I mean, usually when I walk by Mosby's cabin, I hear, "Mother, for the 100th time, I'm married to my job."
Ah, it's Mother. No, I do not have a date tonight because I am married to my job!
There's a trademarked choral twirl. There's a door closing sound effect randomly thrown in off screen to cover a continuity error of the doors going from closed to open between shots.
Tragically, as I took my introductory bow,
the girls decide to help Mosby conquer his fear by arranging a show for him to perform. This storyline's not even interesting enough for me to fully describe its events. He overcomes his courage and he plays that piano at the same venue where the boys show up to bust a ghost. The specter of Captain Tennille reveals himself to Zach, where he communicates compass through a game of charades. The boys apparently dive down to the wreck off-screen, the first people to ever do so, and they emerge with a bizarre exposition dump that they treat as a definite conclusion to a long-standing mystery.
The sinking of the Jessie Belle was not Captain Tennille's fault, and I have proof that he was framed. I dove down to the wreck of the Jessie Belle and recovered the captain's compass. In fact, somebody tampered with it. It was sabotage. Somebody wedged a medallion in the back. A medallion made of iron. Iron interferes with the magnetic polarity of a compass. Exactly.
Who would do something like that?
The first mate, Corey Scully. As you can see, he's wearing the exact same medallion in this photo.
Why would he do that?
Well, I did a little research. First mate Corey Scully was the only survivor of the crash. And as soon as he returned, he proposed to none other than Jessie Belle. Jessie rejected Scully's proposal.
She never got over the captain.
Right. In fact, without her true love, she never wed. And she died an old maid.
Now, this historical conspiracy cleared, the ghost of Captain Tennille is able to peacefully fade away into the afterlife with his beloved Jessie Belle. Why did he only appear to Zach? Never explained, nor acknowledged as a question. Mrs. Gurgley hits Zach with her purse again.
When are you getting off this boat? I am Dylan Sprouse from The Sweet Life on Deck, and you're watching Disney Channel. awesome.
Now we reach Trouble in Tokyo, which I think blatantly stole its name from the Teen Titans movie.
I'm OMUSUNDA, and I come from Tokyo, Japan, currently.
Docked in Japan, Zach and Cody go to visit Carrie, who we're seeing for the first time since late in the first season.
She's pretty. Wow.
I'm gonna go talk to this cutie.
Hello.
Hi, Zach!
Ah!
I think her clothings are trying to play up on the kawaii culture of Japan.
She's acting in a Japanese soda commercial for a businessman who she's caught the fancy of named Mr. Hashimoto. I remember being really excited to see Carrie again as a kid because it genuinely been years and we used to see her in every episode.
What does a Japanese bow mean?
A sign of respect. The lower you bow, the more respect you have.
What's up? I'm Zach.
He doesn't have much respect.
I vaguely remembered the visuals of this studio. I remember the episode took place in Japan, but nothing beyond that. During the shoot, Kara can't get through the ad because the soda is genuinely the worst thing she's ever tasted. It's basically the exact same plot as the Morocco episode. It really feels like one of the writers went on vacation to both of these countries, didn't like the food, and then decided to roast the cultures on national television. When Zach sees a monster costume on the wall, he puts it on and ruins the commercial shoot, catching the ire of Mr. Hashimoto, who renounces his adoration of Carrie and places the entire family in his debt. Now they must slave away at the soda factory, product testing the unbearable flavors. They make a play to escape, only for Hashimoto to send in his army of ninjas.
Oh my gosh. If only we had ninjas as security guard. Also, ninjas generally do not wear black. They wear the dark blue.
Oh no! Ninjas!
A peanut butter sandwich from Zach's pocket lands in his jellyfish soda, and it turns out to be the single best tasting product which Mr. Hashimoto thinks will save his company. The family is allowed to leave.
Ah, peanut butter jellyfish. I get it.
Oh, I got it. I get it.
Come on, boys, we're getting out of here.
Carrie, those are not your sons.
Oh, I know.
This episode treats Carrie's presence so casually. There's no goodbye, there's no real celebration of her being back. I think to the producers of this show, it hasn't been that long since we've seen her, but as a 9-year-old, 2 years was unfathomably long. But rest assured, loyal viewers, we'll see Carrie one last time. A completely random and mildly interesting fact is that Mr. Hashimoto, a one-off character forgotten by the Sweet Life franchise, would go on to appear in Disney Channel's Ant Farm 3 years later, where he'd become a major recurring presence and the main antagonist of the 3rd season. It's literally the same guy, same name, same actor, and Hashimoto Soda is explicitly name-dropped.
Toasting with some of my refreshing Hashimoto soda.
What is this? It tastes like squid mucus.
How dare you insult our most popular flavor? Octopus mucus.
This firmly drops Ant Farm in the Wizards of That So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana cinematic universe, meaning China Ann McClain played 2 characters, one of whom died and is currently an angel.
I challenge you to a super karaoke duet showdown. Winner gets the phone.
You know my honor will not allow me to say no.
In the B story, Woody competes in a sumo wrestling contest to win a gold pass for the ship's buffet.
Oh, I love sumo wrestling! They are known as rikishi in Japan. I don't know the English word. The diaper?
Yeah.
It's mawashi. The stomping, it used to be to ward away like evil spirits before the beginning of the round. It's called shiko. The Japanese sumo seems a bit not as large as normal sumo wrestlers, though.
After a bit of a struggle, Woody is able to overcome renowned sumo wrestler Mikio by overpowering him with the terrible smell of his armpits. That's the plot, that's what's happening. Mikio, having lost his first match, has brought great shame to his family. Woody lets Mikio stay with him until his honor is restored, where he proves to be infinitely more disgusting and unpleasant than Woody. It's horrible. Not only watching this as an adult, but bringing another adult onto a Zoom call to watch it with me. It was a humiliation.
I think that's the child portion of the show.
Thank you so much for letting me stay here, Woody-san.
What's the significance of the gong sound effect, or is there any?
That is more Chinese than Japanese.
You're calling me out of shape? You're not exactly a beanpole.
They do have a special diet. They eat off like all of their food either in the morning or at night, and they put on the pounds, but it's not abdominal fat. It's like over the abdomen, so they're actually pretty healthy.
Ultimately, Bailey decides that Woody must lose another round of sumo wrestling and lose his gold pass in order to restore Mikio's honor. So she introduces him to the foreign concept of deodorant. Also, the whole plot of this episode hinges on Mikio smelling infinitely worse than Woody, but Woody's smell made him pass out. Look, whatever. I don't have the strength to analyze this. This is also Woody and Bailey's only solo storyline together in the entire show, because they have very little in common and their interactions have perhaps limited narrative potential. Woody loses due to his newfound lack of odor, restoring Mikio to his former glory.
I think they did hire actual Japanese people because his pronunciation very good.
In a running gag, London tries to hide from going to the dentist by disguising herself as a vending machine whenever Mosby comes by. In the end, she's tranquilized by the boat's nurse, who is a sniper. We're 9 billion years into the Sweet Life franchise. Things are just happening. Mosby and London's relationship used to mean something and make me feel things, and now it's just London running around dressed as a vending machine. We have 11 episodes left. All I can pray is that there's a miraculous stroke of luck and I tragically die before I'm able to complete this video.
Oh dear.
Sucker!
Oh no! Mosby! London is my favorite character.
Sweet Life on Deck will return here on Disney Channel's Friday night.
And now we'll take a brief detour from our regularly scheduled Sweet Life on Deck episodes to cover one last far more obscure series crossover. Season 1, Episode 17 of I'm in the Band, titled Weasels on Deck. I remember watching this crossover as a kid the day it aired, and it's the only episode of I'm in the Band I've ever watched. I honestly don't know anything about this series. Here's the premise according to my website Wikipedia. A teenager becomes a lead guitarist for his favorite washed-up rock band trying to make a comeback. They let him be lead guitarist in exchange for letting them live in his house in the suburbs. The characters are teenager, British guy, hungry guy, and this episode's protagonist Ash. The Iron Weasels, as they're called, want to perform in front of Mr. Tipton, who will be on the SS Tipton while it's docked in LA. Ash is completely confident that his old pal Marion Mosby will let them be the in-crew's entertainment, as the two of them used to be champion hand slappers in their youths. He gives Mosby a call, but a furious Mosby orders Ash to never speak to him again, and hangs up. Interestingly, this was the only time we ever focus on a character back in this space on the boat, and it's in a completely different series. I guess this episode director saw potential to use this space in a way the Sweet Life's crew never did. Ash doesn't have the heart to tell his bandmates that Mosby said no, and they immediately embark.
First thing I'm gonna do is organize all the passengers to stand on the right side of the ship. See if we can make the ship tilt to the right.
Oh, starboard.
Yes. There is a star aboard.
Ash specifically refers to this perfume sign.
What's with this place? Poop deck, starboard, perfume? These aren't even words. Let's just go. Oh, Ash!
Which I think is the only time specific text in the background of the permanent set has been alluded to in dialogue. Once again, in a different show. Meaning they must have written that line with the set in mind. Ash finally confesses to his bandmates that they weren't actually invited, once they're on the ship. But the Iron Weasels nonetheless claim to be the entertainment and take over the mantle of the crazy Kurosawa brothers.
Gotta say, Ash, you really came through for us, and then you didn't. And then you did. So good job, bad job, good job. Thanks! Sorry, thanks!
In come Zach and Cody, who naturally recognize Iron Weasel. Dylan, Cole, and Phil were the only cast members to reprise their roles, exactly like the That's So Raven crossover episode from the original Sweet Life show.
So, here's the deal, guys. We kinda snuck on the ship.
Oh, well, actually, the past tense of sneak is sneaked.
My brother here is the past tense of cool.
Teenager locks the crazy Kurosawa brothers in a closet, only for the Weasels to learn that they're actually contortionists. Mr. Mosby arrives, recognizes Ash, and prompts the Weasels to go on the run.
They snuck on my ship!
Run! And apparently It's Sneak.
They leap off the boat because characters going overboard is this show's only joke. Zack and Cody rescue them, but also overhear Russian secret police who are on board to capture the Kurosawa brothers, who are apparently professional jewel thieves. The real Kurosawa brothers escape, prompting a 9-person single-file chase that represents Disney XD at its finest. These are fully grown men. In the only part of this crossover I remember, Cody takes control of the ship in his control room and sways it from side to side so the Iron Weasels can escape.
Turn to the right! It's called starboard, but okay. Turn to your left! It's called port. You've only lived on a ship for 3 years.
Mr. Mosby soon romps onto the scene.
The jig is up.
So, port is left, starboard is right, and the jig is up. Got it.
Mosby reveals the reason for his grudge. Ash completely abandoned him mere minutes before their hand-slapped world championship.
Nothing will stand in our way of bringing home the gold.
Wanna join Iron Weasel?
Cool.
But Ash is able to give Mosby closure by hand-slapping him here and now on the sky deck. All is forgiven. The Iron Weasels perform in front of Mr. Tipton in his first actual in-person appearance on the cruise liner, in an episode of a completely different show, and an episode where London isn't even here. I get comments asking me to talk about this show sometimes, and I just don't have the stomach to watch 40 more episodes of I'm in the Band. I'm so sorry, one was enough.
So you guys go to school on a ship?
Yep, it's a sweet life. You should join us.
Can't. I'm in the band.
Roll credits.
You're watching Rock the Boat, a marathon of I'm in the Band and the Sweet Life on Deck, followed by the Disney XD premiere of the crossover episode, Weasels on Deck. It's on now. Yes!
In Senior Ditch Day, the classes at 7 Seas High take advantage of said titular Senior Ditch Day to visit an exclusive beach party in Argentina. That's right, it's not just South America this time, we get an actual country name dropped.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm from Argentina. Born here, always lived here. If they're supposed to be in Argentina in that beach, they're not. That beach looks nothing like anything here. It reminds me a little bit of X-Men saying they came to Argentina. They say it's in Villa Gesell, which is a beach in here that everybody knows and goes to in the summer. And the scene that they put in the movies is in the middle of the mountains in a random cabin that they found, and they just said, oh, this is in Villa Gesell, just believe it, because we're saying it. It's so stupid. And clubs aren't really like that either. If you go to a club on a beach, there's not gonna be a line like that.
On the beach, Zack finds himself smitten by the countless women, but London, in an incredibly rare show of morality, holds Zack accountable on Maya's behalf. Ow! Woody's not able to get past the bouncer, prompting Zack and London to mercilessly leave him behind.
This part is actually so funny because in here, if you go to a party, you know you're gonna get in. Or like, you arranged it previously. And you can't just show up and expect them to let you in just because. The Buenos Aires part of the beach, there's a lot of clubs, and during the summer there's a lot of people going there all the time, but like only in the summer because otherwise you're gonna freeze.
Once inside, not even London's famous enough to get inside the VIP lounge. Her efforts to schmooze entry shot down by the snotty Valentina Sanabria, whose daddy could apparently buy London's daddy and sell him at a garage sale.
The security at the door don't really have any accent in there.
Hey man, are you crying?
When speaking in English, most people do have a very marked accent. I don't, because I grew up watching YouTube videos of mostly American people, so I stuck with the accent. But people in here talk more like this, like it's more loose. You can hear it a little bit with Valentina here.
Arturo Vitali's so over. Where have you been? Stuck in the middle of the ocean?
But it's different, because if she were an Argentinian, you would notice it.
Grito!
Grito! That's so stupid. If you're screaming, you don't say, scream!
To get revenge for being abandoned, Woody changes gears and decides to impersonate Royal Lord Pembleton, where he sneaks into the VIP lounge to make London and Zach jealous, with Valentina clinging to him all over. I like the continuity that Woody reuses his space blanket from the Chocolate Factory episode, but I have no faith that that was done as an intentional callback. Zach and London learn a valuable lesson about being nicer to Woody or something. But the real Lord Pembleton then arrives and everyone gets kicked out. This episode made me learn a lot about myself and the world around me.
I like how there's not even music at this club and people are just kind of like bouncing around as if there is. It's like they were supposed to put in music in post, but they forgot.
Get me in there!
Oh, and I need a video of Rafael Nadal saying hi from Maya.
It would be such a pain to be an extra on an episode like this. You're awkwardly just standing there.
Pemblepuss!
Not only is there no music, where's the fun? Who goes to a club during the day?
He's an imposter!
In the B story, Cody and Bailey are ugly, stupid nerds, and they refuse to skip on Senior Ditch Day.
Waiting for you.
You're late.
Why are you dressed that way?
This spent the story pestering Miss Tutwiler on what she had anticipated as a day off, following her through her classroom and the hot tub.
It's Senior Ditch Day, remember?
It's not Senior Citizens Ditch Day.
Cody claims to have a completely perfect attendance record.
I have maintained a perfect school attendance since my first day of kindergarten.
But his ass is lying because Cody skipped class in the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Season 2 Episode 21 titled What the Hey. It was a whole thing. Miss Tutwiler, at her breaking point, decides she needs to teach them to loosen up and takes them to a game of laser tag in the Aqua Lounge. There's something really interesting about how Cody and Bailey interact in this episode. Spoiler alert, but they wind up getting back together later in the season. This episode was produced after they got back together. It just aired out of order, meaning Cody and Bailey getting along better than usual is a side effect of Cole and Debbie acting as though they're once again a couple. But here's the thing, their arguing and general toxicity is back in full force as well. It literally doesn't make a difference whether they're together or not, because they can't communicate either way, and they're genuinely making the world worse by interacting with each other.
Lasers can be fun in a laboratory setting, like when you're exciting an electron particle.
That's the only thing he's ever excited.
You were always jealous of my affection for Blanky.
I just think it's weird that it's
You know, Blanky cuddles me and never cuddles me.
Stop!
Throughout this episode, Miss Tutwiler is trying oh so hard to read a romance novel, fantasizing herself in its events alongside the dreamy Captain Hawk, played by special guest star Fabio. Tragically, this is the Italian-American actor Fabio Lanzoni, rather than the Survivor Nicaragua contestant Judd Fabio Berza.
Pee real quick. Are you really?
Fabio, what are you doing right now?
I'm getting on the pedestal, The winner of Survivor Nicaragua. Fabio.
After Tutwiler finally manages to ditch these hideous children who've been bothering her, she's able to finish the novel, which ends with Captain Hawk abruptly dumping the protagonist and leaving with another woman on the final page.
Are you breaking up with me?
Kinda.
Legend has it on stormy nights you can still hear her pathetic weeping? The end? Why would my mom send me this?
What are your kind of closing thoughts on how the episode represented Argentina?
I don't know. It was a little stupid. The way the teacher felt, it's like, oh, I'm tripping on nothing. Woo, I'm sorry, I'm gonna come in between you for absolutely no reason.
Fun! We'll be back with your Fanfic Sweet Life on Deck episode.
In My Sister's Keeper, Woody's sister Willa comes to visit the ship, and Cody reluctantly agrees to hang out with her at Woody's request. Unfortunately, or fortunately, IDK, it turns out she's a conventionally attractive woman, and Cody's eagerly attracted to her, and he swiftly starts going out with her. This upsets Woody, and Bailey is apparently jealous of this development.
I officially forbid you to date my sister.
Well, I officially don't care.
On their date though, it turns out that Willa is every bit as unpleasant, uncleanly, and disgusting as Woody, to the point that Cody can only imagine Woody in her place. She puts up her athlete's foot on the table, and I discovered an ancient buried memory. This episode taught me about the existence of athlete's foot. I remember asking my parents what it was after witnessing these exciting events transpire on screen. When Bailey stops by with the hope of making Cody jealous, Cody's able to escape the situation with the following interaction.
Truth is, Willa, I'm still in love with my ex-girlfriend, Bailey.
You are? You are?
Some excuse to let her down easy. Thank you for playing along, Bailey.
Oh. Right. Playing along.
What incredible relationship drama. Willa also says Woody's catchphrases a lot.
Hurtful? Dang it!
London, meanwhile, holds a lookalike contest to find a perfect duplicate who can attend all of her classes and fulfill all of her responsibilities.
And here's a list of words I don't know. This is a dictionary.
The winner, Tess, clearly played by Brenda Song as well, starts to take advantage of London's privilege and of the wealth that comes with the Tipton name. She also falls in love with one Zachary Martin and pulls a Justin Roiland by holding him captive in the Aqua Lounge against his will. London eventually catches on to her clone's mischief and comes to settle things with a physical fight, as all women characters in these shows are contractually obligated to do without exception.
We've been friends for 6 years, Cody! I'm Zach!
Then London chases Tess around, and the story just kind of ends. This isn't even the first time someone's taken over London's identity. Like, these episodes unfolded the same way.
It's Zach and Cody in their first Disney Channel original movie. Dylan and Cole Sprouse star in an all-new Sweet Life event. The Sweet Life movie, coming up next on Disney Channel.
In Frozen, which aired a whole 3 years before the hit film of the same name, the SS Tipton is apparently docked in Antarctica. The show is so much less ambitious than it used to be in that there's no snow or ice on the deck, even though there was when they went to Sweden. Also, despite the fullest extent of my range, I was unable to find a cultural consultant who's lived in Antarctica. But luckily I got someone at least mildly close. So how authentic is this episode to kind of your experiences? I just want to stop you really quickly. I'm not really comfortable with you using slurs like that. Just, if you could just kind of speak a little bit more, appropriately. Cody is traveling to a remote research station run by the legendary Dr. Cork. Woody tagged along because he thinks there'll be sandwiches on the Sandwich Islands. I have no clue why Zach's there. Once arrived, the frostbitten Dr. Cork, missing all sorts of toes and fingers, is played by the legendary Brian Posehn, who basically popped into 1 or 2 episodes of every children's cartoon from the 2000s.
I rarely get the chance to entertain. Well, there was one lonely night with a leopard seal. But I don't like to talk about it.
When Dr. Cork learns the group came on a snowmobile, he suddenly abandons them and speeds away, where they're left to their own devices to survive.
You just ate one of the greatest paleontological finds of the last century.
Well, I was really hungry.
Stranded in this cave for a week, Woody slowly starts to go insane.
What do you think we should do, Miss Mayo? Eliminate the others? I agree.
An abominable snow monster arrives, which predictably turns out to be Dr. Cork, who just drove off to get bagels because he wanted to be a good host. And the nearest bagel store was 3.5 days away by snowmobile. As everyone drives away, a real abominable snow monster attacks off screen, and then they leave Cody behind. Okay, that was racially charged. Can you not see why I wouldn't want you saying that? It doesn't matter what your intentions were. Like, listen to me. Do you not understand how saying that? No, it's not the same. What did you say to me? No, fuck you. Seriously, just get up and get the hell off my call. This is my video. This is my Zoom room. I'm gonna fucking beat your ass. End the call. Just get off this call. Genuinely, I hope you fucking kill yourself. In the B story, famed fashion designer Arturo Vitale comes aboard the SS Tipton. Arturo was first mentioned in the Boston Tea Party episode of the original series, during which London refused to get her dress dirty by participating in a protest.
Come on, London. In this dress? I don't think so. Emotionally, I'm with them. But you know, Arturo Vitale.
Later in That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, one of his dresses became a plot device as Maddie attempted to swap it out with Raven Baxter's original.
This dress is an original Arturo Vitale. Huh?
Today, Arturo tells London he's retiring because he's run out of ideas.
Do you know what it's like to not have a single idea in your head?
Huh?
She once again acts stupid to maliciously hurt Bailey's feelings.
London, it is wonderful to see you again.
Mwah,
Mwah. Are you going to introduce me to your friend?
Friend? Oh, what friend? Did one of my friends come to visit?
She also gets a new stepmom.
I grew up with a father who was never around, and 15 different stepmoms.
London decides to lock Arturo Vitale in her dorm for a full week with no food or water and not let him out until he has an idea. I was originally thinking, is the ship docked in Antarctica for a full week? But then I noticed in this cutaway, the ship is at sea, meaning they just straight up left Zach, Cody, and Woody behind. 3 underage passengers unaccounted for. Arturo finds himself inspired by Bailey Pickett and has a hick-cheek runway show ready to go by the end of the week. London sobs at the farm clothes and dreads the idea of looking anything like Bailey. London also claims to not care about Mosby in this episode because nothing sacred in this show should have ended 3 years ago before they even got to this stupid-ass boat!
Arturo Vitale's the only one who's always there for me. Well, other than that short guy who's my butler.
You mean Mr. Mosby?
Yeah, him.
Hey, I'm Brenda Song from the Sweet Life on Deck, and you're watching Disney Channel. Oh, the purple one. Perfect.
Season 3, episode 15, A London Carol, is the franchise's first Christmas episode since Christmas at the Tipton from season 1 of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. This one being a full-fledged homage to A Christmas Carol. In it, Bailey and Cody are bickering as they run a charity drive to collect presents to give a group of orphans who are apparently arriving on the ship for Christmas tomorrow. They're struggling to raise enough toys, and a selfish London refuses to contribute anything. That night, she's awoken from a slumber by the pedophile mirror, who gives her a glimpse into a Christmas past, present, and future. In the past, we return to London's suite in the Tipton Hotel from the original series, this being the only episode of On Deck to reconstruct any part of that set.
Merry Christmas, Mosby!
I apologize for being late. I was just introducing our staff to our new hotel engineer. He's brilliant, and his being here is going to make my life so much better.
What's his name?
Arwen Hockhauser.
Here, a 7-year-old London is disappointed to learn that her father won't be making it home for Christmas again. Then she refuses to accompany Mosby to the homeless shelter and laughs as she runs over his foot. A few things of note. We see London had a pedophile mirror all the way back in the 90s as a hand mirror. Here we see 7-year-old London speaking fluently despite London claiming in episode 7 that she's been talking since she was 9.
I've been talking since I was 9.
Lastly, young London is played by Haley Ju, who would be reunited with Brenda Song years later as the voice of Marcy in Amphibia. In the present, London overhears all of her friends bemusing her selfish actions and worrying that they won't have enough gifts for the orphans in the morning.
London wasn't always like this. When she was little, we used to go down to the homeless shelter every Christmas, serve meals to the needy.
Really? London?
Oh, yes. And now, all she cares about is herself.
In the future, an elderly London returns home to the Tipton Hotel, only to see that Santa's forgotten her again. Mosby has also passed away in this timeline.
What about Mosby? He never forgets to get me something.
At this point, honey, I'm afraid he's managing that big hotel in the sky.
There are floating hotels in the future?
London calls Bailey to berate her for not getting her a gift. Bailey and Cody are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary on the SS Tipton, unwittingly accompanied by Zach, who's been sleeping on their couch. A depressing look into this future where Cody and Bailey end up together and Zach has not changed or grown as a person. Bailey tells London off and says that she's done getting her Christmas gifts when she gets nothing in return. Elderly London cries alone on Christmas. No mention of what Maddie's doing in the future, but she probably gave up on London by now too. London wakes up with a new lease on life and eagerly donates all of her daddy's gifts to the orphans, who will surely enjoy jewelry. Everyone's so impressed by London's change of heart, which fortunately will not stick and never get acknowledged again. In a minor running storyline, Zach has been oversleeping and missing his shifts at the smoothie bar. Under threat of being fired by Mosby, his solution is to rig up an extremely elaborate Ruth Goldberg machine chain reaction that, rather than waking Zach up, travels all the way through the ship, dumps a bucket of water on Cody, and then sends a text to Zach and activates a mannequin in the smoothie shack.
Good morning, Mr. Mosby, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Zach. See, it wasn't so hard to show up on time.
Woody's not in this episode, and thus he's not sleeping in the dorm. But where is he then? Where is Woody sleeping? If not, where's Woody?
On an all-new Sweet Life, the play's the thing. Interior classroom, day. Miss Tutwiler hands back papers to the class. Tutwiler, class,
your final drama assignment, everyone will participate in the production of Cody's play.
The class groans. Dissolve to Interior Aqua Lounge next day. The class rehearses Cody's play. Bailey, angry. Brody Barton, Haley
Chainlink? This play is a thinly veiled portrayal of my breakup with Cody.
Bailey storms off. Dissolve to Exterior Sky Deck the next night. A small audience has gathered for Cody's play. Cody enters, dressed as Haley in a gingham dress and wig. Cody. Hello, my beloved. Angle on Bailey's shocked reaction. Will this play have a happy ending? On All New Sweet Life, Friday at 8/7 Central, part of Night of Premieres.
In the play's The Thing, Miss Tutwiler assigns the class to perform a one-act play written by Cody. This is apparently a Swiss Army knife curriculum that covers world history, English, and theater. Cody's play is about a dramatic, tragic breakup in Paris between star-crossed lovers Haley and Brody, played by Bailey and Zach. As you may be able to surmise, this play is inspired by real events, and Bailey does not take it too well.
We broke up on the top of the Eiffel Tower. Your characters break up on top of the Arc de Triomphe.
Please. Haley Chainlink is nothing like Bailey Pickett.
She has a pet pig named Snorkers and comes from Carmel Corn, Kansas.
Sheer coincidence.
This is the first time the show has even acknowledged Porker since he randomly disappeared after the 4th episode. Bailey quits the play, leaving Cody desperate to find a replacement for the Haley character come the night of show. Fortunately, he's found a perfect candidate.
Only the most beautiful woman who has ever walked the earth. Here she comes now. Hello, my beloved. Cody, I knew this day would come, but I didn't expect it so soon.
This is kind of creepy.
I swear to God, every writer of The Sweet Life on Deck owes a personalized, handwritten apology to every single person who's ever viewed it.
We're going to be together forever and ever. Of course we are, my beloved.
Or so he thinks. For Paris is full of men, and I plan on shaking my bonbons for each and every one of them.
Addison plays a mime, so she'll finally shut the hell up. Also, this is the first time we've seen her since Marriage 101. It has been a while. London plays the moon.
Hello? Hi, Chelsea.
To backtrack a little bit to the B-plot, Mosby's bummed out as he watches Miss Tutwiler dating a man named Bruno. This episode clarifies Mosby still has feelings for her after they broke up in the first season off-screen after Sea Harmony. Mosby crawls to Zach for relationship advice. He commits a cardinal sin and does talk about Bruno. Zach chooses to humiliate Mosby by setting him up to look ridiculous in front of Tutwiler, and Mosby's just really dumb in this episode and doesn't get it.
I heard someone called for a maintenance man.
Marion?
Oh, actually, I'm going by my nickname now, Thor.
But Zach eventually feels bad when Mosby spills his heart out about how much he appreciates Zach doing this for him, prompting Zach to plot with Bruno, who's been looking for a way out of this relationship. Bruno picks a fight with Mosby and immediately loses, relinquishing Tutwiler to him. This 40-year-old woman swoons over Marion winning a fight over her and leans on his shoulder not even a minute after ending her relationship with her current boyfriend. The two of them decide to sneak away from the play altogether.
This is the worst play I've ever seen. And I saw Vin Diesel in Les Mis.
The play wraps with Haley regretting her horrible decision to break Brody's heart and then falling over the railing and dying.
I can't believe you hate me so much that you killed me off.
After this, Cody relishes in his all-around poor decision-making and comes to a shocking conclusion.
For the last few months, I'd been blaming her for the breakup. But the truth is, maybe I'm just as much to blame. Well, you certainly were a lot happier when you were with her. And clearly less confused.
Zach convinces Cody to apologize to Bailey to get her back. Surely this relationship is salvageable. But a devastated Bailey tells him, yeah, she doesn't want to see him again. And then she slams the door in his face and she cries. Every character in this show deserves to sob in agony as retribution.
On for the Sweet Life on Deck Twister.
Bailey moved back to Kettle Corn.
The biggest.
We're in trouble.
Wildest. Windiest.
Twister!
Sweet Life on Deck weekend ever.
Twister! I love that game!
party!
3 nights.
It's not a party till Moose is here.
3 new adventures.
You'll fill out once you hit puberty.
I'm 17.
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Mr. Tipton is here?
1 whole weekend.
Bailey, I want you back.
That's going to blow you away.
We interrupt this program to bring you breaking news. A powerful tornado has torn through large parts of the Midwest.
Oh no, this is terrible.
The all-new 3-part, 3-night Sweet Life on Deck Twister weekend event starts Friday at 8/7 Central on Disney Channel.
After a season of Bailey and Cody circling each other as the most annoying bitches this side of the equator, it's all led to this special event, Twisters Parts 1 to 3, or as Disney Plus erroneously titles them, Twister, FKA, Cody and Bailey Off Deck. London's absolutely sick of Bailey's constant farm talk. I think this is like the 90th episode that has begun with that sentence in my recap. When Bailey's family can't afford a plane ticket to fly her home for Granny Pickett's 90th birthday, London offers to fly her back to Kettlecorn with her blouse blimp, which she's taking to restock in Manhattan. It tragically pops in Hindenburg's when London throws a dart at it. The girls drive through the endless cornfields of Kansas, with London constantly being rude as hell and eventually revealing her plan today was to completely abandon Bailey in the middle of nowhere so she'd never have to see her again. So let me rephrase that. She was going to leave Bailey to die. To get revenge, Bailey dresses as the Corn Goblin and chases London around the truck when it runs out of gas.
Meanwhile, Zach's about to celebrate his 3-month anniversary with Maya, which doesn't quite track because this 3-parter is to take place in January, when Maya's birthday, aka when they started dating, was established to take place between March and June, in Party On earlier this season.
He wants exclusive tickets for a dinner in the Coral Lounge, and Mosby suggests that if Zach can beat his little brother Dwight in a game of basketball, he'll give him the tickets, but if he loses, he and Woody will have to clean the Fiesta deck with toothbrushes. Zach agrees to the bet, only to be blindsided by the reveal that Mr. Mosby's little brother is Mighty Med star and NBA All-Star Dwight Howard. And it also turns out that Mosby's taught Dwight everything he knows. So let's get this straight. Mosby has a big brother who's considerably shorter than him, and now the show's making the exact same joke in reverse with a little brother who's considerably taller than him. This is Mosby's final absurd backstory reveal, and so as the dust settles, he's a former professional dancer, cheerleader, piano player, hand-slapping champion, miniature golf prodigy, croquet champion, badminton failure, cycling contemporary to Lance Armstrong, junior chess championship contender, roller derby champion, and probably a lot more I'm not even thinking of right now. And somehow he wound up as a hotel manager and then the manager of a cruise ship. So the kids compete with the basketball players and are naturally smoked. But Mosby's being a huge prick tonight and driving his brother crazy.
That's what losers do! Are you a loser? Are you Dwight? Are you a loser? Now get out there and show me some effort! And don't embarrass me! Like the time I tried to teach you how to make a quiche and you completely botched it. Too much salt!
Dwight, feeling bad about playing against children, decides to intentionally play horribly and let the kids win. So a bitter Mosby decides to give Zach Coral Lounge tickets that expire tonight when Maya won't be back until next week. Because again, he is so much meaner than usual in this episode.
I had no idea. Swish!
Now, throughout this story, Cody has been crying, no surprise, about his regrets regarding Bailey, no surprise. The episode explicitly references the play from the previous, which is really surprising continuity from this show. I guess they can just do whatever they want now that it's ending soon.
Well, and return a dress.
That thing you wore in the play, why do you still have it?
Well, I made some alterations. It was always kind of bunchy around the hips.
One of these other two players who've been with Dwight Howard tell Cody that if he really loves Bailey, he needs to tell her, or something, I don't know. As Cody calls her, Bailey and London are legitimately Freddy Fazbear jump scared. I don't remember this, and I'm surprised because this is scary as shit. I know for sure I watched Twister. I remember them driving through the cornfield vaguely, but I just don't remember the jump scare. Bailey yells to Cody that she needs him and then randomly hangs up, leading to a dramatic cliffhanger.
Coming up on the Sweet Life on Deck.
Hello?
I'm here because I'm worried about Bailey. She's here, right?
No.
My poor baby. Well, I hope she's not hurt. Twister! Everyone to the storm cellar!
I'll get Grammy Piggott.
Zach and Cody will be right back in the Disney Channel premiere of the Sweet Life movie.
Twister, Part 2. Turns out the jump scare was just a harmless scarecrow when the girls check it out in the morning. No worries. But in the meantime, Cody's made it all the way out to the picket farm in Kettlecorn. Apparently he could afford this flight no problem. In the last episode, this establishing shot of the ship is clearly lifted from Boat Quay in Singapore. So either Cody managed to get a middle-of-the-night flight to Kansas from the nearby Singapore Changi Airport, or Bailey and Lyndon have spent multiple consecutive days huddled under their dashboard clocking this one-way road in the middle of a cornfield. Bailey's parents aren't necessarily thrilled to see Cody, the boy who's broken their daughter's heart.
So, what exactly did you do to break my little girl's heart?
I didn't do anything.
I can't believe you hate me so much that you killed me off.
Bailey's mom still has the same actress from her brief appearance in the very first episode of the series. Bailey and London arrive on the farm shortly after. Bailey's naturally not happy to see Cody, but he seemingly just ignores this social cue. Unfortunately for them both, here comes Zeke and Luther the podcast star, Dutch Hano, reprising his role as Bailey's ex-boyfriend Moose from Season 1's Much Ado About Nothing. He's been invited by her overeager father to attend Granny Pickett's party as well.
Give Moose a hug! It's not a party till Moose is here.
Yay!
For some reason, Cody just stays on the farm, enjoying another power struggle with Moose.
It's just that my hands are greasy from my moisturizer. That explains the fruity smell.
London's completely losing her mind.
Oh, London, you're whittling. That's wonderful. What are you making?
A pointy stick to stab all you people with.
Well, why don't you just use the knife? Why'd I just say that?
After Cody accidentally injures Bailey's father, he decides now is the best time to confess his love for her. But unfortunately, a freak tornado strikes without warning, forcing the family to descend into the cellar. Cody puts his best foot forward by throwing Bailey's mother out of his way and jumping in before her. Oh, and also, I didn't bother getting a cultural consultant for Kansas because it'd just be like the 90th person on a call going, actually, we do have technology.
Was that during the locust swarm? Or was that the year of the flood?
Where do you people live? Kansas or the Old Testament?
Like, I'm in this country, I've never been to Kansas, but I've seen corn, like at the grocery store, so I don't know, I've basically been to Kansas. That's what Sweet Life on Deck would have me believe. Down here in the fallout shelter with Bailey's entire family, there's no sign of her 9 sisters she alluded to in Season 1.
Actually, I have 6 big sisters. And 3 little ones.
I personally choose to believe that all 9 of them are on separate cruise ships for semesters abroad. So now Cody and Moose demonstrate horseshoe theory and that they are equally horrible and they just have a fight over ownership of Bailey directly in front of her and her family.
Bailey, if I have to huddle out of a storm, I'm just happiest with you.
I'm even happier to be here with you, Bailey.
No one's happier than me. I think I am.
Guys! If you get any happier, my head might just pop off.
Bailey, tell this scrawny city boy that you picked me.
Bailey, tell this tall, strapping cowboy that you picked me. And ignore my description of him.
She belongs with me.
No, she belongs with me.
She belongs with me.
She belongs with me.
Bailey is knocked unconscious and starts dreaming a Wizard of Oz homage because it's apparently the only other culture Kansas has. Besides that time Franklin Pierce passed the Kansas-Nebraska Act and a bunch of people killed each other because a bunch of them really wanted to be racist. Fuck Wizard of Oz, honestly, they really should have had Bailey daydream a recreation of bleeding Kansas. The show is still continuing to pretend Porkers is still around despite literally getting rid of him after episode 4.
Porkers? I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
At a crossroads in the yellow brick road, Cody the Tin Man and Moose the Scarecrow tug Bailey's interest between 2 separate paths. It's all a metaphor. They should have done it where like Cody's John Brown, Moose is Stonewall Jackson. Woody also shows up as Chewbacca.
See? You're scaring that cowardly lion.
Actually, I'm Chewbacca.
No, I think you're supposed to be the cowardly lion.
No, Chewbacca. I like that movie better. Hey, C-3PO.
Zach throws water at her.
What the feathers?
In the B story, Mr. Mosby is in the White Lotus.
I'm extremely sorry for the mix-up, Mr. Everhart, but we're completely booked.
Great. Perfect. Well, why don't you go tell my wife, because I'm not telling her.
That's a woman? I mean, that's a woman.
Zach sees an opportunity to raise money for a date with Maya and rents out his cabin. Oh, this man? You want to know something really funny? He hates his wife!
Today is your lucky day.
My wife fell overboard?
I hope you and your wife will be comfortable here. Oh, feel free to push these beds together. Or farther apart.
Get it? It's funny because he hates his wife. Oh, and his wife? You want to know something really funny? She's overweight.
What is in here?
My wife's swimwear.
How many bathing suits does she have?
Just the one.
What are you doing?
Carrying Mrs. Everhart's tube top and her nightie.
My wife fell overboard?
No, I think we would have heard the splash.
Get it? It's funny because she's overweight. Woody fails to distract Mosby from learning Zach has rented out the entire Aqua Lounge. But when this man is eager to leave a positive review and bring his entire family back next year, Mosby just lets it happen. The end. Bailey wakes up. Now remember, Bailey choosing neither guy, not an option. She has to choose one. Much as American democracy could not choose to straddle the line between free states and slave states, it simply had to make a decision.
Moose, you're a great guy.
The best!
But my heart belongs with Cody.
It does?
It does?
Cody, you're the one I want to be with.
I love how Bailey literally already told Moose she didn't want to be with him back in season 1, but he just forgot, apparently. He's just automatically assuming they'll be back together at the mere sight of her. So the twister subsides, Moose leaves, and the Pickett family emerges to see their utterly destroyed farmhouse, which will take years to fix. Bailey realizes she'll have to leave the boat and help her family for the foreseeable future. And to make matters worse, London is missing. She was never in the fallout shelter. Will this cliffhanger be less anticlimactic than last time? Stay tuned and find out!
Gather your friends for Disney Channel's Gotta See Sunday.
This should be good.
3 all-new shows.
Yay!
Am I in heaven?
3 unbelievable episodes.
Oh my gosh.
First, it's the final episode of Hannah Montana Forever.
Oliver! Jesse!
See what happens with Miley, Jackson, and Lily. Don't miss the final Hannah Montana Forever. Then, brace yourself for the finale of the Sweet Life on Deck Twister Weekend event.
Twister! I love that game!
Everything is ruined, London!
And hit the snow for part 1 of the all-new 2-part Good Luck Charlie special.
Go on a family vacation!
The Duncan's relaxing time at this ski resort is anything but relaxing. It's a Gotta See Sunday that's gonna blow you away. Gather your friends for Disney Channel's Gotta See Sunday. Starts tomorrow at 7/6 Central, only on Disney Channel.
Twister, part 3. Yeah, I will. Lena just safely hit in a tire and rolls onto the sea and she's fine. Zach and Woody see the destruction of Kettle Corn on the news, which refers to the devastated city with countless missing as a backwater community.
The worst devastation was centered in the small backwater community of Kettle Corn, Kansas.
They and Mosby decide to infiltrate a U.S. Army search and rescue unit headed to Kettle Corn.
When we get to Kansas, will we be stopping by the Pickett family farm?
Why? Your buddy here looking for a cow to eat?
Hurtful, sir!
Woody spends 30 minutes doing a push-up. The gang eventually escapes Sergeant Pepper under threat of court-martial and joins the cleanup effort on the Pickett farm, where Cody's proving to be a pussy-ass bitch.
Having once gotten a nasty splinter from an unvarnished picnic table, I suggest we all wear gloves.
Cody? Honey, why don't you go pour us some lemonade?
Even he couldn't get a splinter doing that.
Cody, look, I'm sorry you're having such a tough time on the farm.
Bailey, put down that screwdriver.
Seriously?
London calls Mr. Tipton, who apparently doesn't remember her.
Daddy, thank goodness. It's London. Tipton. Daughter of wife number 3?
Cody takes the phone and proposes an investment opportunity, and soon, the Tipton 1 helicopter arrives, and for the first time in the entire franchise, the infamous Mr. Tipton reveals himself. He's evil.
If these oak trees are 300 years old, they've lived long enough. Torch everything.
It turns out Cody offered to sell him the property in the hopes he'd fix up the farm and save the Picketts the effort, but instead he plans to tear the farm down entirely to build a plastic bag factory. Throughout the entire franchise, Mosby is regularly called Mr. Tipton. It's very clear that they're in frequent communication, and Mr. Tipton trusts Mosby as London's guardian.
Except your father saw this and memoed me, no more of these.
But here, Mr. Tipton seemingly doesn't recognize Mosby whatsoever.
Hello, Mr. Tipton. Good to see you again. It's me, Marion. Marion Mosby.
I have absolutely no idea who you are.
It's honestly kind of insulting. I feel like if the original Sweet Life series wanted to reveal Mr. Tipton after years of build-up, that would have been their right. But On Deck, which shares shockingly little DNA with the original series despite hosting a lot of the same creative team, is choosing to just shit on everything that's come before for really cheap laughs. Mosby's blind loyalty across all 6 seasons has been for nothing, but there's no character moment acknowledging this at all. Mosby doesn't even react, really, and that's it. And I guess it's their show, it's their right. Everything's basically a cartoon now anyway, so who cares?
Please, when it comes to business, Mr. Tipton has no conscience. In fact, he has no conscience when it comes to anything. The man hunts puppies!
Survivor Thailand Brian Heideck reference. After various attempts to trick Mr. Mosby into selling the property fail, including a moment where Woody pretends to rip his face off, which I'm surprised they showed on Disney Channel, I'm surprised I don't remember, London ultimately puts her foot down and decides to blackmail her daddy into leaving.
Stop! Look, no one is going anywhere.
Linda, you stay out of
Look,
this.
I can't, Daddy. Look, I care about these poor, ugly people. You do not want to make an enemy of me. I'll spill the beans. I'll tell them about the money laundering, the payoffs, the secret mining operation on the moon.
Guess it's not a secret anymore.
Proud of his daughter for cutthroat, ruthless tactics, Mr. Tipton decides to sell the property back to the Picketts.
Mr. Tipton, you are doing a very nice thing.
I know, but I'm gonna go through with it anyway.
Mr. Tipton's protective guard rolls out. While Bailey is still sad she'll have to abandon the SS Tipton, Granny Pickett suddenly wakes up and speaks for the first time to reveal that what the family thought was her bathroom can is actually a massive backup cash reserve with which they can rebuild the farm and send Bailey on the cruise. I'm a little bit confused by that because they're leaving the boat after they graduate. There's 3 episodes left. Bailey's not gonna be there for much longer. Wouldn't the term already be paid for? What's the money whatever. I'm so happy for Bailey and Cody. I can't wait for them to live the rest of their lives together.
Marilyn? Oh. I like the cut of your jib. You look me up if you ever need a job.
Right, as I said, I'm the manager.
Gentlemen, form the turtle.
Okay. Something's going on here.
It's a new year.
Oh, it's on. We're in trouble.
Be here for new episodes of The Sweet Life in 2011.
What are we gonna do?
Come with me and we'll have a great adventure.
I'd like you to meet Lighthouse.
I'd like to shop with my belly button.
Bailey moves back to kettle corn.
What?
Ow! Ow!
You're my girl and you always will be.
Welcome to us.
You're scaring that cowardly lion.
Chewbacca, I like that movie better.
Everyone will participate in Cody's play.
No. How hard could it be to find one woman in all of Paris?
Prom is canceled.
We have a secret prom.
Let's play truth or dare.
I dare you to take a picture of that dead body.
Wow, that was a close shave.
There are no snakes in there.
They must have escaped.
We're gonna need a bigger net. The ship has been sold.
I'm gonna miss you guys so much.
We take with us the memories of all the adventures that we've shared.
This is the greatest senior prank of all time.
The Sweet Life on Deck, setting sail with all new episodes in 2011 on Disney Channel.
And
scene.
In Snakes on a Boat, Mr. Mosby says motherfucker.
I've had enough of these snakes on my boat!
Zach, Maya, Cody, Bailey, Woody, and London enjoy a couple's game night together. Woody and London, okay. Yeah, this is actually Bailey's first time meeting Maya, by the way. Cody and Bailey are hideous, ugly nerds, and every traditional game doesn't work out because they're hideous, ugly nerds. So they resort to playing Truth or Dare together. Woody's dared to take a photo of the dead body that's apparently in the ship's cargo hold. But London races down there, beats him, and emerges from a coffin to scare him. But in the meantime, Woody knocks open a crate full of snakes, which the camera forebodingly zooms in on as the screen fades to black. Could this be important? Comment what you think below. If you guess correctly, I will come to your home and give you a kiss on the cheek. While this happens, both actual couples have some strife. They find themselves in disarray, perhaps. Maya starts to question how many girls Zach's dated before her, and she's ruffled by the unraveling of just how much of a player he really was. Zach must come to terms with his shameful past. Again, he's kind of already done this.
For future reference, whenever a girl asks you a question, just say 6. Why? Because when dealing with women, it's the perfect answer to any of their questions. How many girls have you dated? 6. What dress size do you think I am? 6. On a scale of 1 to 10, how pretty do you think that girl is? 6? Wow, that's pretty good. Yep, 6 never gets you in trouble. I love 6.
Cody, meanwhile, becomes perturbed that he can't make Bailey laugh, and she reveals that she never actually found him funny.
Do you find me funny?
You know, not really.
But you've laughed at my jokes lots of times.
Yeah, the thing is, I was faking it.
Bailey claims to have faked her iconic giggle. However, she's straight up lying because in Can You Dig It from the 2nd season, when Bailey was possessed by the spirit of an ancient South American queen, Cody gave a stereotypical, "You're in there deep inside, fight Zarya's control" speech, and he tickled her, prompting Bailey to giggle as she restored her personality. The other option is that Bailey's true personality, upon resurfacing, was able to assess the situation and make a split-second decision to fake her giggle to appease her boyfriend. Uh-oh, snakes get on the loose. If you commented, "Yes, it is important, I'm on my way." I think this is the only time London and Woody lead an A-plot together, as they brainlessly hide the situation from Mosby. After finding all of said titular snakes on said titular boat, randomly concentrated in Cody's dorm, London and Woody manage to get trapped barefoot in a glue trap. All of the snakes have left through the portholes in tandem regardless.
But I got this painful floor burn.
Oh, that looks exactly like Justin Bieber! Make it sing, make it sing!
While Zach argues with Maya, a snake slithers up his leg and bites him in the ass. Mr. Mosby then sucks snake poison out of Zach's ass. I repeat, Mr. Marion Mosby, with his own God-given lips, sucked snake venom out of Zachary Martin's ass.
Bitten, and I had to suck the poison. Anyway, he's doing fine.
I'm writing a thank you card to Mr. Mosby. What rhymes with buttocks?
All threads converge during a group argument on the sky deck, during which all of the snakes arrive. How did this even happen? Obviously, this entire thing has been an homage to Snakes on a Plane, and it wouldn't be complete without the infinitely memorable line, "I've had enough of these." I love how Phil Lewis very clearly said motherfucking, and they didn't visually censor it at all. It's just on the Disney Channel. Mr. Mosby uses his newfound ribbon twirling skills, it's a whole thing, to lead the snakes into a box. In the end, Zach learns Maya used to be a player as well, and she dated countless guys before him, because the writers of the show, I think, really genuinely believe that all women in relationships are hypocritical and unreasonable. A fun fact is that Phil Lewis directed this episode, and he also cited it as his favorite of the entire series.
Hello, Kian. It's Phil Lewis, Mr. Mosby from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and The Sweet Life on Deck. Thank you so much for watching the show, and thank you so much for being a fan. We so greatly appreciate it. Oh, to answer your questions, let's see. I think the most fun I had on Sweet Life on Deck was snakes on a boat. I mean, 100 live snakes running around the ship. Pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it took this long for that to organically come up. London mistakes a snake for a cell phone. The end.
They're making preparations.
I can't wait.
They're picking dates.
I'll set you up.
And everyone's talking about it.
Prom.
It's prom night on The Sweet Life on Deck.
Vote for Bailey for prom queen.
But a prank on Mosby jeopardizes the whole evening.
Prom is canceled!
Now they need a plan.
Have we have a secret prom?
They need a place.
Hey kids, welcome to Secret Senior Prom.
And they need a lookout.
Where is everybody?
They're all at the study hall, studying.
That's enough! Cody Mosby! Cody Mosby! Will they pull off prom?
Hello, Marion.
Something's going on here.
On The Sweet Life on Deck. New episode Friday at 8, 7 Central on Disney Channel.
The penultimate episode of the series and the franchise is called Prom Night, and it opens with a rare instance where the show trusts the audience's attention span enough to commit over 2 minutes to a singular joke.
Well, my parents sent me this new picture of our farm, and I wanted to make sure none of our sheep went missing in the tornado. Could you count them for me?
Okay. 2, 3, 21. Come in.
Hey, Mr. Mosby. Just got my classical CD of the month and thought you'd enjoy it.
Oh. 22. That is lovely.
Everyone comes into Mosby's suite one by one to gift him things that'll subtly make him fall asleep, culminating in London knocking him out with a sledgehammer off screen. And what is probably the main scene from this entire series that I remember, which I didn't recall taking this long until it occurred, Mosby wakes up floating on a lawn chair tied to balloons as a senior prank. He gets struck by lightning and he flies into restricted military airspace.
You have entered restricted airspace.
That's not the tip of the helicopter!
Land your craft immediately or we'll be forced to shoot you down.
From here, multiple story threads interweave until a turning point midway through. Zack scoffs about how lame prom is until Maya expresses excitement for it, abruptly turning him into prom's strongest soldier.
I'm so excited. You are? Have you picked out your dress yet?
Literally every episode. Woody is too nervous to ask out Addison. After multiple seasons of their ambiguous relationship status, the show finally clarifies that Woody and Addison also have no idea what their relationship is.
I want to go with Addison, but she'd never go with me.
Well, I was hoping Woody would ask me, but he hasn't, and it's a shame because I bought the most beautiful dress, but I thought it was sad to have a dress without a date, so I returned it, but I told him to keep it on hold, just in case he does ask me. Is that still sad?
She still talks like this in every episode, by the way. It's cool when Blur from Transformers does it because he turns into a slick car. Addison from The Sweet Life on Deck does not turn into a car. Woody doesn't know how to kiss, so Cody gives him advice and makes out with a practice hand for an uncomfortably long time, which Addison overhears and mistakes for Woody cheating on her, even though they aren't dating.
Hello!
Get lost.
Okay.
I am mad at you because you were a two-timer!
It's a good thing Addison's never found out about the countless episodes that ended with Woody dating a woman as their comedic punchline. Cody becomes distraught when Bailey is far more interested in running for prom queen than the slow dance with him.
I'm so excited. You are? Have you picked out your dress yet?
Literally every episode. Here we truly get the ultimate demonstration of how Bailey Pickett slowly devolved into a carbon copy of Maddie Fitzpatrick across 3 seasons, despite starting out as a distinct character.
I really need your advice.
Vote for me for prom queen.
I meant about Woody.
Woody should vote for me for prom queen too.
Wow. You look gorgeous, Bailey.
Cody, don't tell me, tell the voters. Oh, you want to make this campaign about mudslinging? Because no one slings mud like me, sister.
Oh no, that would be lying. I don't lie. Well, except that time I told our turkey everything would be okay right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, don't worry about it, Bailey. You'll always be a queen to me.
Does that put a crown on my head? Does it?
We learn London is disqualified for running for prom queen after winning it her last 3 senior years. Some people have pointed to this to argue that everything I said about the floating timeline of age gap progression in the previous video doesn't hold water, but I disagree because Lost at Sea from season 2 is very much implied to be London's first time being a high school senior.
So, now that I'm a senior, I don't have to wear those clunky old people shoes, do I?
This would mean that somehow 3 full years elapsed between the 2nd and 3rd season. However, Zack and Cody turned 16 shortly after Lost at Sea in Bermuda Triangle. And for this to be the 4th school year since then would make them 19 years old, with Cody, Zack, Bailey, Woody, Addison, and everyone else getting held back a year, which there is absolutely no implication of whatsoever, and is certainly unlikely for Cody and Bailey in particular. This timeline is broken, and I've wasted my life by trying to make sense of it. I should be ashamed of myself.
You look pretty? Only if you mean pretty average for a badgered-faced, broken-down cat lady.
London, I feel like our banter has lost some of its playful subtlety.
Even The Sweet Life on Deck is over The Sweet Life on Deck. Unfortunately, a pissed Mosby bursts into the classroom after being forced to land by the United States military, getting assaulted by a baboon in the wilderness, and making it back to the ship through an unspecified means. He angrily cancels prom, throwing the student body into chaos. Zack, who's almost paid attention to a lesson on prohibition, suggests staging a secret prom under Mosby's nose.
Hey kids, welcome to Secret Senior Prom.
London stands lookout and traps Mosby by stapling his tie to a bulletin board, a fate he is utterly incapable of escaping from. Now, the show continues to get great mileage out of the goofy stock music about years and years ago, as everyone elaborately disassembles the prom. Mosby's tie is ripped in half. A singular staple is apparently stronger than silk and linen. He bursts into the room! But it's too late, he can't find any evidence of wrongdoing during an innocent Friday night study session. He leaves, everyone dances again, and Woody clears up the misunderstanding with Addison.
Oh, Woody. That is so sweet.
Unfortunately, Mosby just randomly enters now again. I don't know what happened to London. This is easily the angriest he's been since Bon Voyage after the destruction of the Aqua Lounge, as he screams at Emma and the entire class.
I want you all out of here, this instant! And Emma? You and I are through.
Fortunately, Zach is able to lie through his teeth like Saul Goodman and navigate his way out of this situation.
Hey, seniors! We have the final tally, and the prom king is...
No! Prom is over!
Marion Mosby!
What?
What?
Because we knew you missed your prom.
So we wanted to give you the experience you never had.
And so richly deserved.
Oh, I'm so touched! Oh, the crowd!
Mosby forgives everything, and he dances with Emma very casually. There is nothing more romantic than a manager dating his employee. Bailey laments the fact that she didn't win prom queen because she's incredibly unlikable.
Not Bailey. Anyone but Bailey. Drop dead Bailey.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that one. I was just annoyed that you wouldn't dance with me.
They're both horrible, but I feel like it's better that they're dating each other because that keeps them out of the dating pool and protects the rest of society. Woody and Addison finally kiss, and then we hear him take a bite out of her face because he mistakes her for a ham. Did you guys know Woody's hungry? That's crazy. The episode concludes with Mosby knocking out Zach with a sledgehammer and sending him into the sky on a lawn chair propelled by balloons, which I also fondly remember. And with that, only one episode remains. But before we can talk about that, we have one roadblock standing before us. The Sweet Life movie.
March 25th, it's Zach and Cody in their first ever full-length Disney Channel original movie. It was supposed to be their best spring break ever.
Our last spring break together, and you choose some biology reserve over me?
Until they get caught in a world of weird science and evil twins. Dylan and Cole Sprouse star in an all-new Sweet Life event.
You think it's as far down as it looks?
The Sweet Life movie. An all-new Disney Channel original movie. Friday, March 25th at 8/7 Central on Disney Channel.
Let's dive right in, shall we? It's the twins' final spring break, and Cody is nervous to break the news to Bailey that he'll be attending an internship all week in order to receive a scholarship to Yale. It's established that Carrie and Kurt off-screen have promised Cody Kurt's vintage sports car as a reward if he gets into college. Zach wants this car, and he's trying to manipulate an exchange of goods and services so that he might receive it.
Let me break the news to Bailey, and in return, you give me the car.
Keep that back. Hey, come on, let that go.
Cody's eloquently worded letter to Bailey flies away, prompting Cody to angrily brush Zach off.
Go away, Zach. I don't want you standing anywhere near here when I talk to Bailey.
When you say near here... Everywhere!
Cody used to be likable. 2 minutes later within the movie, Zach returns to tell Bailey anyway, leaving her absolutely furious at her nasty bitch of a boyfriend, Cody. As with other similar DCOMs, it's absolutely amazing to experience the camera moving around. It's liberating to escape from the same suffocating shots and sound stages the rest of the series is constrained to. Look at them moving the camera. They're having fun. Good for them. In the absence of the laugh tracks, oh, God bless America.
And because she can take you, she cannot take me. She put you in a headlock with her thumb. You blacked out. You missed November. They had to reinflate your lungs with a bicycle pump.
Okay, maybe she can take me.
Another obvious elephant in the room is this movie filming on a real cruise ship. But the thing is that this ship looks nothing like the SS Tipton in the series. I remember being confused as a child, wondering if this was even the same ship. I think in the filmmaker's head, this was the big budget extension of the show and let them film on location. But to a child with no real grasp of that concept, I was like, this is literally a different ship. What are they doing? Zach, Cody, and Bailey look distinctly older in this movie than they do in the final episode of the series. Debbie looks more like Jessie than Bailey. This was almost certainly the last Sweet Life media to be filmed and the final time they inhabited these characters. The sets may very well have been torn down by now, but could you not just, I don't know, rebuild the CG model of the boat, or just reuse it as is, because it's not like the CG in this movie looks any better. Now, according to the fan wiki, this movie takes place between prom night and graduation on deck. like that's when it aired. Sure, but this movie takes place over spring break, the kids' senior spring break. Why would prom be before spring break in a US-based curriculum? I think that the children at the time in 2011 saw that it aired here, and they were like, well, that's the order, not knowing that prom happens after spring break in every educational institution that I'm aware of. So I'd wager this movie almost certainly takes place a little bit earlier in the timeline, at least before prom night. It has to take place after Twister, given that Cody and Bailey are together, though. So right before Snakes on a Boat is as early as this can chronologically go. At the internship, a marine biology reserve, Cody meets Dr. Donald Spaulding, a scientist trying to create a psychic link between dolphins and humans.
Exactly how close are you?
Just really good friends. Why? What have you heard?
I meant with the research.
I know. I mean, I knew that was what you heard.
What? London eats dolphin food. This is going to give her telepathic abilities later in the film. I repeat, London... I'm not even gonna repeat it. Zach tags along to the Institute, but quickly finds himself distracted by a science assistant named Nellie.
That looks promising.
Hey, remember Maya? Your girlfriend? Your girlfriend Maya? Who you love? Your girlfriend Maya? Hey, Zach! Hey, Zach, remember Maya? Your girlfriend? Maya? This brings up a massive sticking point regarding this movie. It feels wildly disconnected from the series. This entire plot isn't rooted in anything the series established or in any of its storylines. This movie's director and writers have never worked on either series in any capacity. For some reason, Disney Channel gave this movie to people who had never creatively contributed to this brand before, and you can feel it in every second. But yet, there are a good handful of really obscure references to the franchise, like dogging on Carrie's cooking.
It's like worse than Mom's apricot tuna roll-ups.
Or Arturo Vitale.
They're Arturo Vitale.
Or Blanky.
Where's Blanky when I need him?
Or Dang It.
Dang it.
Which makes me think the people who worked on this series must have touched the script at least. But somehow Zach cheating on Maya with no one acknowledging it can slip through the cracks. Zach pilots an experimental submarine to impress Nellie. Cody impulsively jumps inside a second submarine to stop him, but only makes the situation demonstrably worse by shattering a seawall. Somehow the water pressure pulls the submarines into the ocean, but not Zach and Cody themselves. The water pressure doesn't affect them. They're just built different. I had misremembered this from childhood as them cracking the glass in the Aqua Lounge, but I must have been conflating this with Bon Voyage. The Aqua Lounge isn't in this movie because the movie's mid. Having lost his scholarship opportunity, Cody blows up at Zach.
I'll never forgive you for this. Ever. I hate you. We may be twins, but we are not brothers.
I like how this is barely meaner than the sort of stuff he regularly says to people.
I iron my pocket hanky.
No one cares.
As I alluded to in Zach and Cody's Descent into Madness, this movie was filmed in Vancouver, Canada. My unnamed sibling Kayla and I took a venture over there. This science lab that Cody's internship is at takes place at the Vancouver Aquarium. Look, we walked around. It's this fish tank. Look at me. I am Dylan Cole Sprouse now. Leaving the Vancouver Aquarium, there is a massive cruise ship port, and I will bet anything that is where they filmed the actual cruise ship. They just took a nice leisurely 10-minute drive over here to film a big chunk of the movie. I'm so confident. Okay, this is Vancouver. I cooked. I called it. We get a really ominous glimpse of Nellie talking to some scary janitor. I literally thought this was Arwen for a second, but tragically it's not. Woo, what does this janitor mean? Stay tuned to find out. Dr. Spaulding approaches Cody and offers him an alternate academic experience. An internship at the Gemini Project, an experiment centered around twins. Unfortunately, this means Zach would have to travel with him.
It's not like I'm just some idiot who doesn't know anything about science. Oh yeah? What's matter? Nothing. What's the matter with you? See?
Cody, desperate for a scholarship, accepts. There they meet Dr. Olson, who's trying to take Dr. Spaulding's research even further with a psychic connection between twins, who he's collected, I guess, to live at this giant Epstein Island summer camp. Zach and Cody just do random activities for a while, but they start to cooperate more and more in sync with one another, the more of this fruit they eat. Curious. Spoiler alert, this turns out to be the Coriscan fruit, which gives Zach and Cody a telepathic connection with which they can hear each other's thoughts and feel each other's pain. Here's a scene of them trying to hurt each other.
You know that sound that you just love so much? No, don't do it. Don't do it, Cody. Here it comes. Yeah? Yeah, how about this, huh? That's not fair! Zach, that's not fair! I'm wearing drinks! Yeah, well, no!
Cody had telepathy once before in a previous episode, but at least that shit was a dream when the show was still pretending to be normal. This movie keeps cutting back to Bailey, London, and Woody hanging out. They get attacked by crabs who are attempting to escape being eaten. This isn't treated as unusual or paranormal. This is just something that crabs can coordinate and do successfully in the Zack and Cody universe now. The point of these scenes is to communicate that London can speak to dolphins, and Bailey is really mad at Cody and basically decides their relationship is over again, a mere one episode after getting back together.
Not the big D.
Oh, yes. Oh, it must be done. Cody Martin, you are now and forever deleted.
Mosby happens to find the letter Cody had written for Bailey in the opening scene, and after hearing his eloquent wording as originally intended, she completely forgives him, absolves him of his sins, and decides to head to the Marine Biology Institute to apologize. Apparently the cruise liner is docked for the entirety of spring break, rather than sailing, at the time most people would be taking a cruise. Also, Cody's doing this to afford his Yale scholarship. I'm gonna get a little ahead of myself here, but the next episode establishes Bailey's also shooting to go to Yale. Is she doing anything to get a scholarship? She doesn't seem to have any empathy for Cody seeking financial aid, despite her being financially well worse off. Yale tuition as of 2011 was about $40,000 a year. So unless Granny Pickett had an additional $160,000 in her pecan beyond what's necessary to rebuild the farm, I'm not sure what Bailey's plan is to afford Yale. Nellie tells Zach about The Merge, but she's not talking about Survivor Borneo episode 7. The Merge will morph all pairs of twins into one perfect being each. Zach and Cody decide to escape knowing this information. Their telepathic link allows them to feel each other's thoughts, which lets Zach understand how much the internship meant to Cody, and Cody to understand how badly Zach wants that damn car. But they're both caught by Dr. Olson. Zach eats too much of the Coriscan fruit while Cody doesn't, leading to a half merge where Zach repeats everything Cody says and does. Except they completely abandon this within 3 minutes, and it's not even consistent during the 3 minutes where they are doing it.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
A delay from the one to the other. It's astounding.
If you let us go, we won't tell anyone what we saw here.
I can't do that.
An army of mind-controlled twins, which really is not explained, but that's the least of this film's worries, begin pursuing Zach and Cody around the facility. They're able to zipline to a nearby sawmill, apparently. They check off's gun to the zipline, but not wherever the hell this is.
Zach and Cody.
Why is it always blades?
What does that line even mean? Why is it always blades? When has it ever been blades before? Why are there even blades here? Throughout the movie, we see these hyper-athletic and physically dominant European twin brothers, and you'd expect that to just play into the finale, like maybe Zach and Cody have to fight or evade them. But no, they just operate a large claw.
It's okay, you'll do better next time. Yeah, the double team.
The twins leap 100 feet down into a body of water, but they're caught immediately. The film's entire action climax was a dead-end, failed escape attempt that literally could have been excised entirely without affecting a single thing, because they wound up right where they started. Caught by Dr. Olson. I'd wager over half of this 80-minute movie could be excised without consequence. You could have fit this entire storyline easily into a two-parter. You probably could have fit it into a one-parter. It's such a waste of a movie. Normally these movies utilize their budget to do the things the shows could never do. But in this case, it's like, why do any of this?
Turn around!
Zack hanging off the side of the boat doesn't even look that much better than when Cody did it in the show. The water and sky clearly aren't real. Luckily, help is on the way. Some dolphins tell London where Zack and Cody are. That's the entire payoff to that, and Dr. Spaulding is shocked to learn of their predicament. It turns out that Dr. Olsen is secretly Dr. Spaulding's evil twin brother. He's the one who invited Cody and Zack to come here. He's just randomly been in the background of the movie a bunch of times. He was jealous of his brother's success or something, and it's just a one-to-one mirror of Zack and Cody's relationship. It's all well and good. The merge starts, and then astral projections of Zack and Cody emerge, and they start fighting with each other, even though they literally just made up, and they feel each other's thoughts, and they really vibe now.
You know, I'd tell you to get your head checked, but I'm sure the results would come back as empty. Well, at least it's not jam-packed with stupid facts and math thingies with numbers.
You can hear me. Keep fighting with Zack. By fighting, they're creating a resistance and a power surge to the machine that wants to merge them.
It's as if the thing they do best, arguing.
They don't even fight that often. It's like one episode per season. And then the last instance was 30 episodes ago. I'm losing my mind. The twins fighting disrupts the merge. And then Bailey whips out a lasso to capture evil Dr. Spaulding. Her being on a farm, I swear to God, was not mentioned anywhere else in this movie at all. Mosby shows up with the police, evil Dr. Spaulding gets arrested, Cody and Bailey make up, and Zack enjoys his new car. That lasted about as long as the last time Kurt gave them a car.
Well, spring break's over. Now if I could just make it to summer vacation.
Mr. Mosby was barely in this movie. So do Zack and Cody just have telepathy now? Does it wear off? Can London permanently speak to dolphins? Why aren't there any other characters in this? Was it really impossible to get Carrie or Arwen or Esteban or Maddie? Surely you could afford Ashley Tisdale with a DCOM budget given Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure aired 1 month later? This is called The Sweet Life movie, but in reality it's just The Sweet Life on Deck movie. But no one else beyond the core minuscule cast and Woody gets to slip in an appearance. Even as a child, I remember not liking this. I was like, that was weird. I didn't get anything out of that, and I never watched it again. The thing about this movie is, what does this even have to do with the inherent premise of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? How did we get from two little boys stressing out a hotel manager to a clone science experiment, two humans merging into one, an army of twins?
If I can resolve the irresolvable conflicts between twins, such as yourselves, I can expand that to all mankind and create a world free of fighting and anger and aggression.
It's just absurd. It has nothing to do with Zack and Cody as a concept, as a premise. What were they even thinking? How did this movie even happen? Genuinely, I'm baffled by it. I'm baffled by it. It's leaps and bounds above the absurdity of the series, and the series just had a Star Trek episode. I don't even know, man. Okay, 1 episode left.
It all began with two brothers.
Take a pen and sign your name.
You've watched them grow up.
Your picture, write a wish,
and make new friends.
Always stay like this, yeah, friends forever.
And now, the biggest day in all of their lives,
Fellow graduates,
is finally here.
we're not just classmates, shipmates, or friends. We're a family.
The Sweet Life Graduation. New episode Friday, May 6th at 8, 7 Central. Followed by a special preview of the Disney Channel new comedy, Ant Farm.
The series finale of The Sweet Life on Deck is a second 28-minute special titled Graduation on Deck. This one makes a bit more sense as a special than the German fairy tale episode. Mr. Mosby enters with bad news.
You guys are getting married?
No!
It turns out that Mr. Tipton has ordered the SS Tipton to be scrapped and demolished. And I know I made this joking conspiratorial claim earlier in this retrospective, but this is also exactly what happens in the final issue of Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, although by then it had been rebranded as Lost Light. Was James Roberts inspired by the Sweet Life on Deck? Almost certainly. The term is going to hastily end prior to the boat's destruction. Cody, Zach, and London each get a storyline. London is the quickest by far. She needs to pass a foreign language, or else she won't be able to graduate. We've never once seen any of the characters in this franchise taking a foreign language. London's final challenge as a character literally has nothing to do with the previous 157 episodes. This 21-year-old woman has to be handcuffed to her desk by Miss Tutwiler until she suddenly starts to absorb this wacky language. She learns 3 words.
La pluma? La silla? El libro!
You just called me an ugly woman in Spanish!
See!
And I'm so proud!
And then the scene ends with the implication that she's about to learn a bunch more, but it's entertaining to imagine that she only learned 3 words in Spanish and that was sufficient to pass the class. Zach, meanwhile, grapples with the fact that Maya has been assigned to Chad after being accepted into the Peace Corps.
Wait, Africa?
Zach reminisces on how much of a dirty player he used to be. Firmly past tense, definitely.
I've broken up with hundreds of girls. By text, by email, by blog. I once dated 2 sisters and I had them break the news to each other for me.
Zach can't bear to deal with a long-distance relationship though, and he makes plans to break up with Maya over dinner. Unfortunately, she had the same plan and ends up breaking up with him, leaving him heartbroken.
Are you breaking up with me? Oh yeah, it's over. History, flatline. Say bye-bye.
I love when series finales bring back forgotten characters, but Frankie the construction worker from Bon Voyage? Why her? All the hundreds of characters. And the writers said, oh, we can't forget about that one construction worker who had 5 lines. Okay, would have brought back Mr. Blanket if it were up to me. Cody and Bailey eagerly await their acceptance letters from Yale.
Hey, check this out. I did bring a second pair of underpants.
This was a full circle reference to episode 1. How narratively satisfying.
I was looking for my underwear. Oh, here it is.
You only brought 1 pair?
Plus the pair I'm wearing. Ow.
So I guess that was technically his 3rd, not his 2nd. Whatever, close enough, I forgive them. When Cody's letter arrives, he's heartbroken to learn he did not get accepted. Here.
Bailey! Oh, poor Bailey. If I didn't get in, then there's no way she got in.
But Bailey did get accepted to Yale, leaving Cody despondent over the fact that he and Bailey won't end up together. And I actually love this arc for him. First of all, we get to see this whiny smug bitch cry like a loser.
Amy?
Who?
My girlfriend, she goes to Yale. I was afraid she wouldn't make it.
Maddie's love interest from a random Sweet Life Season 1 episode is apparently smarter than Cody. But more meaningfully, from a challenging him as a character perspective, I think this is actually perfect. It feels like something he's been destined to achieve the entire franchise, and yet he didn't, and he's blindsided and devastated. The idea that Cody would go to an Ivy League school was first introduced in Books and Birdhouses, the 9th episode of the original series' 2nd season, in which Cody dreams that DC Douglas, the voice of Chase from Transformers Rescue Bots, denies him admission due to his B in middle school woodshop.
We here at Big Snooty Ivy League College do not take people who got a B.
I'm not putting too much pressure on me. Harvard's putting too much pressure on me. Yale is putting too much pressure on me. Princeton, MIT, Stanford.
As the show evolved, Harvard solidified as Cody's dream school.
Just where do you 2 hooligans think you're going?
I'm thinking Harvard Law School, and Zach is thinking San Quentin.
In Season 1, Episode 15, Hypnotized, Cody had a run-in with Harvard's Dean of Admissions, Cabot, whilst Zach dated his daughter. Cabot turned out to be a big asshole, though, and prompted Cody to turn his back on the idea of going to Harvard.
He's going to Yale. Ugh. Well, the dorms are nicer, and they have an atomic particle accelerator.
Well, Harvard had one of those, but it broke.
Yeah, that's because no one there knows how to factor negative isotonic transition.
Do you know how to do that?
Yeah, but I'm going to Yale.
And I really appreciate that continuity. Like, the writers just randomly locked the hell in writing this finale, and you know what? Good for them. I have to ask, did Cody not apply anywhere else? The show treats this like he didn't get into college at all. Did he throw all of his eggs into Yale's basket? Because he really only has himself to blame, if that's true. Also, this throws a wrench into Cody receiving a car from Carrie and Kurt, as discussed in the Sweet Life movie. That was his reward for college admission, but he didn't get accepted. But they already gave that car to Zach during spring break, so who knows and who cares?
We haven't really had a chance to talk about our future.
Okay, I just said a giant crane is coming in at 5 o'clock.
Don't forget it!
Carrie and Kurt board the boat, and Bailey finally gets to meet them after 71 episodes.
Oh, it's so nice to finally meet you guys.
Oh, you must be Bailey. You're Cody's... where are you guys now?
You know, if you bothered to read Cody's email, you would know that they're back together again.
I am still on the one after Paris. It's like 25 pages. I like Zach's better. It's short and to the point. Hi, Dad. Send money.
Bailey lets Carrie know about Cody's rejection, and Maya talks to Kurt.
He's not the only one. Zach's not coming out of his cabin either. Oh, by the way, I'm Maya. I'm so sorry, and I will not be there for Thanksgiving.
Why would she say this? Kurt and Carrie rush away to comfort their depressed children and convince them to participate in the graduation ceremony that's occurring in 10 minutes. I think these are really great scenes that utilize the characters extremely well.
I was heartbroken when your mom and I split up. But I went on the road with my band, and I've done just fine.
You are so brilliant. And you have been since the moment you were born and cut your own umbilical cord.
I had to. Zach wrapped it around my neck.
It's only when the twins learn about each other's plight that they emerge to encourage one another to join the ceremony after all they've been through. I believe this to be intentionally reminiscent of this shot from the series pilot. Arwen's here, no Esteban, sadly.
And I don't know why I didn't get asked to come do the finale. I would have done it, but they just didn't ask. Who knows? Budgets do have a lot to do with things, and but when I didn't get asked to do the finale, you know what I said? Oh, this is a disaster. All right, buddy, take care. Adios.
This is also the very first time Arwen's ever interacted with Kurt. This moment from the original Season 1's Christmas at the Tipton being the only moment they even inhabited the same space.
Why'd you bring this guy? I'm their father.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm their stepfather.
No, you're not.
Not yet.
And this was Arwen's only line in this finale, by the way. Besides this, you could just look at him in the background. Right as graduation's about to begin, Mr. Tipton deems he wants the entire ship destroyed within the hour. Frankie begins destroying it on his behalf. Is this why they brought Frankie back? Because why not assign Arwen to destroy the ship, given he works for Mr. Tipton directly and that provide a really natural explanation for him being here, as well as give him a bit more screen time? Because why is a construction worker assigned to demolish the ship anyway? Think about how chaotic and disorganized the Tipton organization is that they'd spend presumably millions of dollars on this underwater aqua lounge, only to destroy it within the school year. Did the Starship Tipton not include the Aqua Lounge? I guess it didn't, since we see the underside of the ship. Was the Starship Tipton even real? Is anything real? Is there a god?
Hello, Mr. Tipton. Yes, it's Marion Mosby from the SS Tipton. Yeah, they're dismantling it as we speak. Right, but we're trying to hold a graduation ceremony here. Well, your daughter is one of the graduates. I understand. Actually, I don't understand. We are having this graduation ceremony, whether you like it or not. Good day, Mr. Tipton.
Yippee! Honestly, this is a resounding final moment for Mr. Mosby. He stands up to this awful man who's had him under his thumb for 6 seasons. This man he's had to raise the daughter of. With all of London's like 14 other mothers, did she never end up having other siblings? Imagine how cool of a story premise that could have been. London has a stepsister she hates. Although in execution, with this creative team, it would have just been them fighting on the floor and screaming a bunch. So they probably wouldn't have done anything interesting with that idea now that I think about it.
Woodrow Fink!
His name is Woodrow? That honestly redeems his entire character to an unbelievable degree. I love old-timey, stupid president names. I want to name my son Rutherford. I've forgotten to mention that starting in late season 2, the show developed a running gag where Woody complains about his stepdad, Steve.
No, Mom, I did not send Steve a card. Because it's called Father's Day, not dude who moves into your house and acts like a jerk day. Hi, Mom. And Steve. That's her new husband. She wants me to call him Dad, but it just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, neither does Steve, but Mom still loves him. I haven't walked this much since Steve took me to the wild animal park and set me free. When I wrote that my stepdad Steve was flattened into a pancake by a rogue steamroller and devoured by wolves, that was just a metaphor. But my stepdad Steve and I were tight when he was my swim coach. Then one day he came over to play Marco Polo in the pool and ended up with my mom in the hot tub. I always thought of you as a brother. A real brother, not like Steve's kid Neil, who's 40 years old and lives in my treehouse.
Thank you for calling tech support. This is Steve.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks for nothing, Steve.
Steve's apparently in attendance at the ceremony, although Bailey's family noticeably is not. I like how they're supposedly docked here, but there's clearly just an empty sky off the side of the boat.
I can't do this. Cody, I'm not going to Yale without you.
Bailey, you can't turn down Yale.
It's not your choice, it's mine. And I choose you over Yale.
You deserve to go to Yale.
Yale won't be the same without you.
Ew, I do this publicly. Bailey Pickett just gave up Yale for Cody Martin. She's literally gonna regret this decision for the rest of her life. At least I hope she does. When everyone throws their caps in the air, they didn't even use a slow motion camera. It's just like a regular 24 frames per second slowed down very distractingly.
Emma. Will you?
Yes!
After Mosby proposes marriage to Miss Tutwiler, all of the characters say their goodbyes.
I'll call you if I ever have a problem.
Okay. Hello?
I have a problem. I'm gonna miss you.
That was so dramatic.
Bye, Zach. Bye, Cody.
Actually, London, I'm...
Oh my god. She still She used to know which one was which! The twins bid Mr. Mosby farewell and squeeze a confession out of him that he'll miss them a little, though he's reluctant to tell them where he'll be next. They reassure him that they'll find him.
The finale was hard because we had to say goodbye to everyone. But we had a wonderful time doing the show, and we so appreciate fans like you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Kian, always remember, no running in my lobby.
As the boys ascend the spiral stairs, we get one last reassurance that they still fucking suck as people, and they haven't learned a damn thing.
I slipped Frankie a 20. Did you take that from my wallet? Actually, I took a 50. I just gave her 20 of it.
We never see Carrie and Kurt again. In my opinion, they ate them. We never see Maya or Addison again. In my opinion, they ate them. We never see Arwen or Frankie again. In my opinion, they ate them. We never see Woody again. In my opinion, they ate him. We never see Bailey again. In my opinion, they ate her. We never see London again. In my opinion, they ate her. We never see Zach again. In my opinion, they ate him. Mosby and Cody have a cameo in Jesse. Good for them.
No, I am telling you, Cody, it's uncanny. She looks exactly like Bailey. You want to come see for yourself? Oh, dear.
Believe it or not, despite Zach and Cody being adults, Disney Channel was still looking for opportunities to continue the franchise, which Dylan and Cole have spoken about publicly. Spoiler alert, these talks did not go anywhere.
Yes, my brother and I actually quit off of Disney Channel. One, because it had been 6 years, and we thought that the glory days of the show were definitely when we were in the younger series. We stopped it then, but also for another reason, my brother and I wanted to become producers for the show, so we were trying to get the writing credits for one more season before we went to college, where we wrote this all ourselves. We had everything out, laid out on the table, and we went up to them and we said, well, let's do one. If we're going to do one last season, it's going to be on our terms. We're going to produce it, and it'll be a setup for a new show. The reason we wanted to do that too was because it would also set up all the cast and crew we've worked with for 6 years. So they would not lose their jobs in our decision to go to college in real life. And so they would continue to work, and we would, we would also be making money off the producership. They told us no to that idea, so that was kind of a big part of the decision, because they didn't trust us enough after all this time. And then, like a week or two later, they came back to us, and they're like, all right, well, we said no to your idea. Let us pitch you our idea that we came up with. And they pitched us our idea in Miami with Selena Gomez. And Cole and I turned to each other, and we basically laughed in their face and walked out. And that was the last meeting we had with Disney.
Well, my ears perk up with the Selena Gomez information because 1, that implies maybe Wizards Season 4 wasn't set in stone, and 2, Selena Gomez has already played 4 separate characters in this universe. I nonetheless won't let us get distracted with any such tangent this late in the game. After #6 seasons in a movie, the network had no respect for Dylan and Cole at all. And unfortunately, I'd been exposed to this interview before I even began this retrospective, which made it kind of unpleasant because I'm unable to look at this show and see it as anything other than 2 boys being taken advantage of, used and abused for their entire adolescence, then chewed up and spit out as soon as they stop being useful to the adults who don't give a shit about them in the first place after employing them for most of their lives. Well, like a third of their lives. You know what I mean. When you're a baby, are you really alive? No, you're just ugly. When I think back to the last year of my life spent watching Zack and Cody media, I think about how long I procrastinated all of this. I had originally envisioned this video coming out in January. It's not January. The reason it took me so long to actually lock the fuck in is because this show is just bad. It's not enjoyable. And I know for a fact that discussing Zack and Cody as a career, it could be worse. It could be worse. I could be like not discussing Zack and Cody as a career. I have nothing to complain about, but like, good lord, I never, ever, ever wanted to work on this. Throughout this entire previous year, I've been asking myself a question, rattling back and forth for months and months and months. Is the Sweet Life on Deck a D tier or F tier? It's not getting anything higher than that. While it's undoubtedly better than Lab Rat's Elite Force, it's still an unnecessary extension that's considerably worse than its original in every conceivable way. It abandons the very premise of the franchise. It ruins the spirit of every single character without exception. There have been a lot of good, solid laughs, don't get me wrong, but guess what? An F is still 50%. You can get a lot right with 50%, but it doesn't mean you pass the pre-calc test. I wasn't expecting this result. Going in, I was incredibly excited to see this until I was just immeasurably disappointed. Sweet Life on Deck, it's getting an F. I want to say a big thank you to all the cultural consultants for watching the show with me.
Oh no.
No, don't do this, no.
Oh no.
No. No.
Okay, so what show's next, Silly Besties? Be sure to comment below. Be sure to follow my Patreon. Be sure to